The White Sox pitcher Mike Clevinger under investigation by Major League Baseball for violating its domestic violence policy. It's stemming from allegations made by a woman who accused Clevinger of physical and emotional abuse toward his 3 children and their 2 mothers, including herself. Clevinger's agent could not be reached for comment. 49ers defensive lineman Charles Omenihu, a key member of the team's D-line, arrested yesterday after a domestic violence allegation. The team says it's aware of the matter and is gathering more information. NBA, the Nets will be without Kevin Durant at least 2 more weeks as he continues his recovery from a sprained MCL. As KD progresses well in his recovery, Brooklyn hoping for Kyrie Irving's dominance to continue, says ESPN's Jalen Rose.
And not just scoring the ball. We know he's as dynamic as it gets, handling the ball, scoring the ball, jumping off of both feet. But the playmaking, making people around him better, dropping it off to Claxton, making the game easier for him. The leadership.
Brooklyn's currently 4th in the Eastern Conference. Lakers listing LeBron James questionable tonight versus the Clippers with ankle soreness.
When you're trying to find quality candidates, all the searching, screening, and interviewing can become a job itself. You need Indeed, the all-in-one platform that makes it easy to interview, screen, and hire quality people. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, I'm Matt.
You're a loser, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Muso.
I'm a Barbie girl in the Barbie world.
And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. Pels and Tigers back on the hardwood tonight. We'll talk to Graff in about 15 minutes. We'll go up to Northwest Arkansas 1 hour from right now. Talk to our buddy John Nabors. And to start hour 3, we're going to talk to Jeff Duncan. And, of course, all the Sean Payton news has been kind of driving the bus a little bit here of late as this continues to evolve. So we went to our field reporter, Brian Fantana, for the latest on Payton Watch.
Payton Watch.
That was so much worse than I thought it was going to be. Hit it again. Hit it again.
Payton Watch.
Ooh, that's so much better than Panda Watch, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hey,
sure.
You know what you could
Why
do?
not?
You know what you could also do,
What's
Muse?
that?
You could actually get the Panda Watch drop as well because my Panda Dunks are showing up today. I'm fired up for it. I'm fired.
All
Drew got
right.
his last night. Drew's Panda Ducks came in, getting mine today. Woo! That'll make an even 20 pair for me since Christmas.
When you texted me to get that drop, I actually thought that's what it was about until I read the second half of the message.
Yes.
And you're like, and dub Payton over it.
Yes, dub Payton over. Payton Watch. Brian Fantana.
Payton Watch.
It's getting more ridiculous by the day. Sean Payton Watch here. So Jeff Duncan will be with us in hour 3. And his update earlier this morning was that Sean Payton completed his interview Monday with Carolina. And then we'll meet with Arizona officials on Thursday. The second meeting with Denver has been delayed. Jeff Duncan did opine that the longer this goes on, the likelihood of him staying at Fox increases. I'll get to that in a second. But then there was this. After Jeff Duncan's report, Diana Rossini from ESPN, she quote tweeted Jeff Duncan and added to Jeff's report, saying, I was told there is a team waiting in the wings, watching all of this, and could make a move if they get, quote, their ducks in a row. So I think 2 things. Just to recap, there are currently 5 NFL head coaching vacancies. Sean Payton, by Thursday, will have interviewed for 4 of them. We know that he's already interviewed for Carolina, Houston, Denver, and by Thursday, we'll interview with Arizona. So there's the only team that he has not interviewed with yet with a vacancy is the Indianapolis Colts. I'll circle back to that in a second. When you hear the ducks in a row comment, that leads me to believe it would be a team with a current head coach, right? Meaning, if you're, and we all know the team that everybody's thinking, it's Dallas, right? Because Sean Payton forever has been linked with Dallas. We've all talked about it. Everyone has opined about it. It's been long stated. He coached in Dallas under Bill Parcells. Sean Payton has a home in Dallas. When he moved from New Orleans to Dallas as his primary residence. Now he's in LA, obviously being remarried. But we all know. We all know the history there and why we've all assumed for a long time that would make sense. Okay. But Jerry Jones said last week that no matter what happened in the playoff game in San Francisco, that Mike McCarthy's status was going to be unaffected, that he would be the coach. Okay. If you are Jerry Jones, you are not going to make any type of public move toward Sean Payton without knowing whether or not you can actually land him. So that would make sense, right? Get your ducks in a row. The compensation for the Saints, would they take the deal? Could you get a deal worked out with Payton? Would all that work? Because you're not going to make anything public or proceed without having your ducks in a row, as you put it. That would make sense. That's the one we're all thinking, right? Could there be another? Sure. We've kind of talked about that for a while. The wild card team, or as she put it, the sort of mystery team, I assumed early on could have been the Rams, that Sean McVay would leave for TV. He didn't. Thought about it, decided to stay in LA. So that's an interesting one. Dallas makes sense. Tampa Bay would make sense as well, wouldn't it? Tom Brady's a free agent. If that's what it would take to keep Tom Brady in Tampa, meaning getting Sean Payton down to Tampa, that could be another one that makes sense, although would the Saints really be willing to trade Sean Payton within the division? All those questions pop up again. But the other one is Indy. Indy, it makes sense. There is no reason that any team with a coaching vacancy should not kick the tires on the best coach available in this cycle. If you are a team, look, there's 5 vacancies. 4 of the 5 have all interviewed Sean Payton. He's the best coach available in this cycle. If you don't at least pick up the phone, make the call, do the interview, kick the tires, that's negligent. What's it going to take to get you? And there's a lot of appeal if you're Sean Payton as well. Indy has the 4th overall pick. They're going to draft a quarterback. Whatever they do, that Bryce Young will probably be gone, but if it's Will Levis, if it's C.J. Stroud, whichever quarterback maybe they covet, they're going to draft their franchise. Someone they hope will be their franchise, put it to you that way. So if you're Sean Payton, you go to Indianapolis, you have an owner who's a little cuckoo, but at the same time isn't going to meddle in the day-to-day operations, and you have the 4th overall pick, and you can pick your quarterback and groom him. And you're in a terrible division. I mean, look, okay, part of them being a terrible division is Indianapolis being bad. But Houston's got a major rebuild, obviously. Tennessee does not look like the team they were a year ago when they were the number 1 seed in the AFC. Jacksonville is certainly on the come. Okay, they won a playoff game. They got Trevor Lawrence. They're on the come. But that's still, that it ain't the AFC West, where you're looking at Mahomes and Herbert and Russ and, well, Carr is going to be out, but whatever Las Vegas does. Indy makes sense. And maybe, and this is like a pretty common negotiation tactic, you wait until everyone else shows their hand, and then you swoop in at the last minute, knowing it's almost like going on defense first in college football overtime. Why do you go on defense first? So you know what you have to do. You know offensively what you have to do. You can scheme for it as such. So in this instance, if you're Indy or if you're this other mystery team that Diana Rossini's talking about, as far as another team that might get into the Sean Payton sweepstakes, it's actually pretty savvy to sit back, let everyone else haggle, negotiate, leak stuff here or there. What's it going to take? You ask people around the league, what are they willing to give? And once you know the price, you just jump in with your best offer and say, hey, take it or leave it. It's not a bad strategy for whatever team this may be that could get into the Sean Payton sweepstakes. I've said it plenty of times already as we've gone through this over the weeks that we've talked about the Sean Payton stuff, and I know for many it's probably tiresome, that I just want whatever the great value is going to be for Sean Payton. I want him, the best case would be get the best value and get him in the AFC. So if it's Denver, if it's Indy, if it's another mystery team in the AFC, great. The worst case scenario would have him in your division with Carolina or Tampa. So let it play out and see how it goes. Jeff Duncan did mention, though, the longer this goes, the likelihood of Payton staying at Fox increases. Part of me understands that if you're Sean Payton, do you get back into the coaching just for the sake of getting back into coaching, or do you wait till next year when there might be an even better situation available? Which would make sense. But the other thing that's been talked about a lot is Sean Payton loses leverage, right? So if you wait until next year, what if you don't have a better situation arise? What if next year, and because you don't have as much leverage, the value for the Saints goes down, and maybe Sean Payton's potential ask financially goes down as well. The longer you go, you lose leverage. I mean, that's just the nature of it. So I'm not sure that I see Sean staying at Fox, but Jeff Duncan, I've said, Jeff literally wrote the book. He literally wrote the book on Sean Payton and Drew Brees. So I'm not going to sit here and discredit Jeff Duncan, and my guess is he's not just throwing that out there. My guess is he's got a little insight. Remember, I mean, he wrote the book, Payton and Brees, the men who built the greatest offense in NFL history. Like, the guy wrote the book on Sean Payton and Drew Brees. So if he's saying it, I think there's at least some validity to it or the possibility of it happening. So we'll continue to keep an eye on Payton Watch. Payton Watch. That's so stupid. But I love it so much. Get out of here, you panda jerk. You're making me look like an idiot. What does he say? Make me look stupid? Make me look like an idiot? What does he say?
He's stupid, yeah. Making me look stupid.
Panda jerk. I love Anchorman.
It is just top 5 of all time.
It is. It's for me, and that's just
for me too.
That's any movie, not just comedy. That's top. I love Anchorman. The opening scene, whenever he's sitting there doing the vocal exercises, because if you've ever done, like I don't do that before this show, but when I used to do morning radio, I would have to do that. Like I would drive to work doing the vocal exercises. Unique New York, the Human Torch was denied the bank loan. I was just warming up your voice to be able to not sound like you just woke up. Dude, first when I was doing morning news radio reporting, I had to file my first news cast. It had to be filed at 5:30. So it was airing at 5:30. So like I had to get there. Oh yeah, I had to get up, get there, be awake, research it, write it, cut it, and have it sound like it's the middle of the day for me. Which is why you would have to bring a dump truck of cash and dump it in my driveway for me to ever go back and do mornings again. No thanks.
How now, brown cow?
How now, brown cow?
How now, brown cow?
Oh! Lanolin? like sheep's wool? Graph is next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Clegg's Nursery. 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. I'll tell you about those in just a second. But remember, it is a great time to just plant something. You can tell it's planting season right now. I mean, it kind of always is. But really, you get to the holidays and the New Year's, and a lot of people sort of forget about it. But you may be thinking, Matt, we're in the middle of winter. Why am I going to plant something? Shade trees, fruit trees, shrubs. This is actually planting season. This is the best time of year to plant, when the ground is going to take to all of those things. So get by Clegg's. They have truckloads arriving daily of trees and shrubs and all these winter flowers that do great and love this time of year and thrive. You want to add that little pop of color to your flower bed, to your patio pots. You can do it with winter plants and winter flowers. It is a great time to just plant something. If you don't know what to plant, easy. Go to Clegg's, find someone in a blue shirt, and ask. They're awesome. It's Clegg's Nursery. Buy local, shop local at Clegg's Nursery.
play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
We're hopeful. We'll see how it goes. Once again, he had a good day today, played 5-on-5, and that's something that he needed to do to get back on the floor and hopefully play in some games. We'll see how he responds after today's practice.
All right, Graff is with us, radio voice of the Pels. Pels back at it tonight. That was Willie Green talking about BI. Graff, we appreciate you as always. How are you?
I'm great, Matt. How are you?
Doing awesome, man. We appreciate you. So give me the level of optimism or not so much about whatever the opposite pessimism of BI playing tonight.
Tonight, I would. Well, he's listed as doubtful, so I would lean to the side that he would not be playing tonight. But as you did hear Willie Green yesterday, he did participate in 5-on-5. I was on this very show 1 week ago, right before we played Miami, and said he would not return to the floor until you saw Ingram participate in 5-on-5 type practices. That's just the ramp-up way it has been since I've been in the league in 4 years now. That's just pretty much standard. So he did a little 5-on-5 in the practice in Miami on Saturday after the workout was over. And then, of course, he did some yesterday. So now when you talk about the optimistic part of things, if there are no setbacks, and that's the key, if there are no setbacks, I would be stunned if Ingram did not play at least tomorrow or at worst on Saturday. I would think that the process is to the point now where he would be ready to come back at least by the end of this homestand, which ends Saturday against Washington.
Graff, you're around the team. My apologies, Graff. You're around the team every single day. I know what the mood is around the fan base. Kind of got the finger on the pulse, right? Amid this losing streak, now losing 4 in a row, and this recent skid. What's it like there with the team? How are they feeling?
It's okay, Matt. I mean, the thing about it is this has been the case since Willie Green has become the head coach for the New Orleans Pelicans. And again, you go back to last year when you started out 1-12 and 3-16. People I think have a tendency to forget that because of all that has transpired, of course, going back to the end of last year. But even when the team was 3-16, there was never any wavering with the coaching staff, Willie Green, and the players. Now, is it frustrating? Absolutely. These guys want to win, but that's just not the case right now, and you're going through a stretch where I think not having your scores is really starting to catch up to you, specifically in the fourth quarter. But the attitude is great. I mean, these guys come out every single day to practice. There's a ton of energy. They're not feeling sorry for themselves. They know that these experiences are going to help them down the road, because that's exactly what happened last year. A lot of young guys are getting time that they normally would not be getting. And, it's going to help down the road. But, no, the attitude's been great. But definitely these guys want to win, and it has been frustrating, especially going back to last Monday in Cleveland. And you can really be specific, Matt. It's just been a struggle in the final quarter. You've had a lead going into the fourth quarter in 3 of these 4 losses, and just have not been able to finish games.
He's on Twitter at NTGraphs, your radio voice of the Pels. Pels and Nuggets tonight. They're from the blender. I want to go narrow and then broad. So let's start with tonight against Denver. It's a 7 o'clock tip. The Nuggets are the number 1 team in the Western Conference. They're just a 1-point favorite in this game, though, Graf. Pels did do a number on Denver in New Orleans back in December, 121-106. That was the night where Jose went off. But no BI and no Zion. Zion did play in that game back in December. How do they have success tonight against Denver without BI and without Zion, presuming BI doesn't go?
Well, you're going to have to score the ball much better than we have in the last week. Now, again, you go back to the offense, and because the defense against Miami on Sunday was impeccable. It was absolutely fantastic. I mean, you forced 17 steals in that ball game and scored 31 points off turnovers. But the offense just has not been able to pick up the slack. And people also are forgetting that Najee Marshall missed those 2 games in Orlando and Miami. And I mean, that's been since Najee has started, Matt, he's averaged 18 points a game. So not only you're missing BI and Zion, but you're missing another 18 points in Najee Marshall. Najee's become a scorer.
Yeah.
Since he's become a starter. He's been able to get his own shot. But you've got to do better scoring the basketball. Look, Denver is outstanding, but here's the key. And I think, I'm not supposed to be talking lines or anything like this, but I think the reason why the line is so close is because Nikola Jokic is questionable for this game.
Okay.
He has missed the last 3 with a hamstring tightness type of situation. Now, it's interesting because they are playing tomorrow is Denver. This is the front end of a back-to-back for them. So do you bring Jokic back? And by the way, they've lost 2 of the 3 games he has not played. Oh, my, I guess it helps to have your best player out on the floor. Imagine that. Anyway, but, back to point. But if Jokic plays, that's a whole different deal. If he doesn't play, well, then obviously that's a big advantage for the Pelicans. So they also have been without Michael Porter Jr. and Bones Highland, who's been their best player off the bench, is also listed as questionable tonight. So injuries are definitely going to be a factor. We're really not going to know about Jokic until about 5:30 when Mike Malone addresses the media. I'm sure he will be more upfront on if Jokic is going to play. But the last games that he has been listed questionable, like he is tonight, he did not play. So we'll see how they do this going into the front end of a back-to-back. So that's really going to be it. If not, I think it's going to be a perimeter game. Look, Denver is top 5 in the league in scoring, even though they were held to under 100 points against Oklahoma City 2 nights ago without Jokic. They're the number 1 field goal percentage team in the league and the number 1 3-point percentage team in the league. So if Jokic does not play, I think you're going to see a perimeter type of game, and they've definitely got some shooters with Contavious Caldwell-Pope, who's 2nd in the league in 3-point percentage. Jamal Murray has come back after a couple of real tough years with injury. He is playing back up to all-star form again. So they've got players, but obviously it surrounds Jokic. And if he doesn't play, that, no pun intended, hamstrings the Denver Nuggets.
I love puns. You never. Hey, hit the rim shot. There it is.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hey, and you never have to apologize for a pun on this show. I love a good pun. Okay, last thing. Pels are currently 4th, but they're 3 games out of 11th. So that right now they'd be hosting a first-round series, or they'd have home court, but they're 3 games away from being out of the play-in. So are you glass full or glass empty? Half, glass, half. I think I might have said the A word.
I know what you meant. I know what you meant,
Yeah,
Matt. You
sorry.
don't have to repeat yourself. You might curse on the air again.
Did I just do that? I think I did, didn't I? I did, didn't I?
I think you did, but
I
it's
think I
okay.
did
I'll
too.
let it slide. I've heard
Okay.
worse.
Yeah, me
I've
too.
heard worse.
I've said worse.
I think. Look, you know me. I am a pessimist at heart. That's what happens when you root up to the Saints and Tulane your entire life. And by the way,
My God.
I'm not. I mean, if you really want to get into this, Matt, I blame the Tulane Greenway for winning the Cotton Bowl of all this because it's pretty obvious I can't have sports bliss because after the Cotton Bowl game that night, Zion, hurt his hamstring and it's been all downhill ever since. So, but again, what am I saying?
What a tortured sports
roll
life.
away.
There you go.
Yes, it's unbelievable. No, look, Matt, I think the All-Star break, thankfully, is coming in the next couple of weeks. I think if the Pelicans can hover, I think the goal right now, I mean, the ultimate goal is to be top 4, but until you get everybody back, it's just going to be tough to maintain. I think if you can get to the All-Star break in the top 6 spot, just staying out of the play-in, I think you can go from there because when everybody comes back, I think we've seen that this is a very, very difficult team to beat. But at all costs, you got to stay out of the play-in at the end of the year. Because look, when you got a full roster, I'd take the Pelicans in a 7-game series against a lot of teams. So you remember, that's what it's all going to boil down to at the end of the year. Can some other team beat you 4 times in a playoff series? When the Pels have all their horses, it's going to be very, very difficult. But until then, you just got to maintain and try to win games as however you can. And look, if Jokic doesn't play tonight, you have got to take advantage. You really, really do. I mean, it's tough. Injuries are a part of everything. But if that guy doesn't play, that hurts Denver because they're nowhere near as good as a team, and the numbers back that up when he does not play.
I am a glass half full guy here. We'll see if the Pels can get it done tonight. Thank you, Graff. Have a great call.
Thanks, Matt.
All right, man. Be well. That's Todd Graffagnini. Follow him on Twitter at NTGraff, radio voice of the Pels, and always really generous with his time to join us. We appreciate it. All right, it is After Further Review. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here. We're brought to you by Michele Weighing and Measurement, Michele.com, Michele.com. With 29 offices across 11 different states, there is a Michele calibration lab near you. It's all about being more efficient. You go to Michele.com, Michele.com. If you have precision measurement devices, they will calibrate those devices. If it's scales that you need, they're our nation's leading distributor of scales. It's Michele Weighing and Measurement. Go to the website. They offer ISO 17025 accreditation. Their track system I tell you about all the time. It allows you 24/7, 365 access for free to all of your calibration certificates. So let's say you get audited for a job. Boom. Right there at your fingertips. You can have all of the calibration certificates for every device that you use. It's Michele Weighing and Measurement. Michele.com, online at Michele.com. All right, let me knock out a quick break. We'll go around the SEC when we come back. Some coaching carousel news around the conference, including a couple of coordinators leaving their posts. We'll get to that when we come back. John Nabors is going to be with us in 30 minutes from right now. Does a great job covering Arkansas. We'll talk a little bit about the Hogs and the Tigers on the hardwood tonight up at Bud Walton Arena. But also we'll get some thoughts from John on Arkansas. It's a tricky year, a pivotal year, I would say, for Sam Pittman. Because we've talked so much about that structure. Right? Sam Pittman, similar to Ed Orgeron, you got to nail your coordinator hires. Well, he did. With Barry Odom as his defensive coordinator and with Kendall Briles as his offensive coordinator, well, now in the same year, he loses both of them. Can he adequately replace those guys to not miss a beat? We know the hires he's made is good enough. Talk about that a little bit with John Nabors as well, coming up in about 30 minutes. Okay, it's After Further Review. We're glad you're here. Stay here.
AFR.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $8,500 off new 2022 Ram 1500s. New 2022 Ram 1500 trucks on our lot now with $8,500 off MSRP. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Time doesn't stop, and the world keeps spinning. Community, culture, and communications, the powerful circle that connects us together. We're creating the next evolution, a network built for every possibility, moving faster than ever before.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Ed Reed is not going to be the coach at Bethune-Cookman. You've probably seen that news. I mean, look, they were trying to obviously, Bethune-Cookman was try to capture the same energy that Jackson State did in hiring Dion. But if you missed it over the weekend, Ed Reed posted an Instagram video, went on to social media, kind of complained that his office hadn't been cleaned before he arrived. He was sort of railing on the way things are done sometimes, and some of the people that run the HBCUs. And essentially, Bethune-Cookman didn't ratify his contract, and so he had to say goodbye to his players. There was about a 15-minute goodbye. It was video. Dion jumped in there as well. Ed Reed then went on another social media rant today. Listen, I'll say this, and I understand that if we're going to talk about HBCUs, that my comments are going to be met with some skepticism because there's an element of race, and I'm a white guy. I get it, okay? I'm not going to pull punches. I'm going to be very honest with you. And I understand that there will be some people who say, what do you know? Okay, that's fine. I also live and work in a market that has arguably the preeminent HBCU in the country with Southern University, which I've seen and followed and cheered for and covered my whole life. So to some degree, I'm comfortable talking about it. And also working in this market, I can tell you that there are things procedurally that have kept HBCUs from ascending. And a lot of it is internal. I mean, there are things that are lack of attention to detail, like what I'm not saying Ed Reed is right, by the way, for going off the way he did or how he did it. You're still if you're going to be the head coach, you still have got to be able to process things. But remember when Deion went in his post-game press conference and talked about everything being stolen out of the locker room? I mean, he was, in essence, talking about the process and the procedures. You don't hear about that anywhere else. And that's a lot of stuff that HBCUs do need to get fixed. I mean, remember when the Grambling football team refused to play because of the conditions of their locker room? Where else does that happen? I mean, call a spade, call it what it is. And if your interests really are in, as a coach, as an educator, as an administrator, in giving better opportunities for the young people that represent your school and play their sports, then the administrators of those schools, I'm not pointing fingers specifically at Bethune-Cookman or Grambling or wherever, but the administrators of those schools have to do better. It's not a problem exclusively to HBCUs, but there's a lot of it that has permeated that level of football, for sure, and that level of athletics over the years. And there's a lot of great people that are coaches and administrators at HBCUs. A lot of them I've talked to on the show and covered over the years, and I think the world of. Roman Banks, I think, is a phenomenal athletic director. But look at the mess he inherited at Southern. I mean, the academic scandal where they were like forging grades, and they weren't keeping documents of grades and records. I mean, they got hammered. And so, look, everybody's got their problems. I'm not pointing the finger, but I also believe that people like Ed Reed, like Deion Sanders, like Eddie George. You want to take it outside of HBCUs? Look at UAB hiring Trent Dilfer. Okay. A lot of those hires are made with the intention of bringing attention to a program, to a level of football that often doesn't get it, and that can't buy that type of exposure. Jackson State could literally could not buy. They could not afford to buy the amount of exposure that Deion Sanders brought that program, that athletic department, that institution. So if Bethune-Cookman could replicate that with Eddie George, I totally get why they would do what they have to do. But the specifics of that situation notwithstanding, Eddie George, or Ed Reed, isn't wrong. There's a lot at that level that has to be fixed. So, see who's next. All right, it's after further review. We'll go around the SEC here in just a quick second. Love telling you about South Point Volkswagen. Airline just north of Highland. Online at southpointvw.com. Southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com. Man, if you want to drive the Atlas like I do, go out in the parking lot right now. You'll see my Volkswagen Atlas. 3-row, 7-seater family SUV. I don't just endorse it. I'm a customer. I drive a Volkswagen Atlas. Before that, I drove a CC. Before that, I drove a Passat. Erica drives an Atlas as well. We have her a new Atlas Crossport on order. The Crossport takes out the third row. So if you don't need it, a little shorter, a little more compact, a little sleeker back on the design, you can check it out at South Point Volkswagen. Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer is South Point Volkswagen. Y'all, they have inventory on the lot, and if they don't have what you want, they will find it. It's South Point Volkswagen. Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer, South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction? Okay, do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions. The Alabama Crimson Tide.
Bill O'Brien's 2-year tenure as Alabama offensive coordinator has come to an end. He's been hired by the Patriots as their offensive coordinator, role he previously held. O'Brien's the third Nick Saban assistant to depart this offseason, joining defensive coordinator Pete Golding and safeties coach Charles Kelly.
Texas A&M!
Aggies linebacker coach and co-defensive coordinator Tyler Santucci is headed to Duke. He'll take on both those roles with the Blue Devils under current Duke head coach and former Aggie DC Mike Elko. The Aggies could fill that vacant slot with former Ole Miss co-defensive coordinator and safeties coach Chris Partridge. He was let go in Oxford on January 14th.
The Arkansas Razorbacks.
Deron Wilson is a prime candidate to watch an Arkansas search for new cornerbacks coach. He's a New Orleans native, currently a quality control coach, and works with the cornerbacks at the University of Florida. Prior to joining the Gators, he was the DC at McNeese for 2 seasons. Hogs are seeking their third cornerback coach in as many seasons. Dominique Bowman was encouraged to seek other opportunities.
The Ole Miss Rebels.
Ole Miss is expected to hire Western Kentucky cornerbacks coach Kenoto Hudson to fill the same spot on their staff. He worked previously 2 seasons as the cornerbacks coach for Lane Kiffin at Florida Atlantic. Sam Carter left Ole Miss to join the Purdue staff, which created the vacancy. Before this, Hudson was on Lovie Smith's staff at Illinois.
The Florida Gators.
Florida has added Houston linebacker Manny Nunnery. He'll play the will spot there on the Florida defense. In 4 years at Houston, Nunnery played in 25 games. When he was a recruit, he was a 3-star, the number 76 outside linebacker in the country back in 2019.
The South Carolina Gamecocks.
4-star tight end Michael Smith has committed to South Carolina, the 6th best tight end in the country for 2024. He's a 6'4", 225-pounder, had 30 offers, including Bama, Arkansas, Florida, Ohio State. South Carolina now has 3 commits for 2024. Smith is the number 134 overall prospect, the second highest ranked member of the class.
The Georgia Bulldogs.
And more details have emerged following Monday's arrest of wide receiver Ra Thomas. Thomas allegedly caused bodily harm to the bicep and shins of a female. He was also charged with false imprisonment. Allegedly, he stood in front of the woman's dorm room and would not allow her to leave. Georgia provided a statement saying they're aware of the matter and are gathering information. Thomas just arrived in Athens this month after transferring from Mississippi State. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy Trey Beal and our friends online at gcopnet.com. It's gcopnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. Face-to-face sales, service after the sale. That's what you always get with our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products. They are simply the best. If you need office equipment, Gulf Coast Office Products services the entire Gulf Coast with locations all over Louisiana. If it's Baton Rouge, New Orleans, the North Shore, Lafayette, they can get to you same day. Worst case scenario, by 10 a.m. the next day, it's Gulf Coast Office Products. GCOPnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. All right, it's after further review. We are glad to have you aboard with us here. We'll knock out our final break of hour number 1. John Nabors talking some Arkansas with us in 17 minutes from right now. And then to start hour 3, excited to have Jeff Duncan aboard with us. If you missed Jeff Duncan's report earlier today, he put a couple of things out there. Said that the second interview, Sean Payton's second interview with Denver apparently has been postponed, and also noted that the longer the Sean Payton courtship drags on, the more likely it is that he ultimately returns to Fox for another year on TV. So we'll talk to Jeff Duncan about that coming up at the start of hour number 3. So if you have to go, come back for that or catch it on demand as always. All right, we'll knock out our final break here of hour number 1. Stick around.
AFR.
It's carnival time, y'all. It means it's king cake time, and Rouse's does it better than anyone. You go to Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com to get your king cake shipped anywhere in the country. You got those family members that live outside of Louisiana and they want to experience a piece of carnival, or maybe you got clients who are outside of the state who you want to give them a little taste of Louisiana during the carnival season. Go to Rouse's.com. Get your king cake. It could be filled with whatever filling you want. It could be the traditional king cake. You could do a black and gold king cake. They even got the parade packages where you get beads and a lot of other stuff as well. Send a piece of home, a piece of Louisiana, a piece of carnival anywhere in the country with Rouse's king cakes. Just go to Rouse's.com. That's Rouse's.com, and you'll see the king cake tab on the homepage. Tap it, ship it anywhere in the country. It's Rouse's and Rouse's.com, or just walk in any Rouse's today and get your own king cake. Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
You ever heard the tale of the misunderstood bull? A menacing beast who was born to float. A force of nature. The embodiment of grace. Quite grand, yet quiet.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, wrapping up hour number one. Muse has a poll question up. Why don't you fire away for us there, Muse? Let us know what the people can go vote on.
Sure. Today's Citizens Bank poll question of the day. Get over to the ESPN Twitter account at 1045ESPN. Vote. Who is the mystery team looking at Sean Payton? Dallas, Miami, Tampa, or Indianapolis?
You screwed it up again, Muse.
No, I like it. It's good.
You have to have other in there.
Why?
Because as Paulie pointed out during the break, Paulie, what did you say?
The Saints.
It's not the Saints.
Where was Sean Payton today?
Okay, he's in New Orleans, but it's not.
Where was Sean Payton today?
He's in New Orleans.
Has Sean Payton been seen in Miami? Has Sean Payton been seen in Indy? I don't think so.
But the Saints also said Dennis Allen's going to be the head coach next year. It's not New Orleans.
That's why it's a mystery team. If you get those ducks in a row. Tell me you've never seen a scenario ever, Muse, where somebody said, yeah, your job's safe. And then they get axed. Huh?
I'm not going to be the head coach at Alabama.
Well, that wasn't the guy getting fired. But that was
somebody got fired. Shula.
Well, someone had already been fired. Shula had already been fired.
Right.
This is a different scenario. This is when someone has said that his job is safe. Mickey Loomis has said that Dennis Allen would be back, and then he goes back on it. See, you screwed it up, Muse.
I like it. I think
you screwed it up. You have to have other, because Twitter only allows you 4 choices. So you have to have other as an option. So you'd go with the ones he's 3 of the ones that he's already interviewed with. You can't go with, I guess that would be mystery.
The mystery. Yeah.
So you go Indy, Dallas, maybe Tampa, and then other. Or Saints, and then other.
It's not the Saints.
But give people the option to vote. You're missing the point of this democratic process. This is the point of this process, is you allow people the option to give their answer. You don't choose for them. In this instance, you've chosen for them. This is not a democratic process, Muse. What you've done here is a dictatorship.
Mm-hmm.
That's not how this works.
Well, I
We want a true democratic process where you give the people the opportunity to make the decision for themselves.
But if they just click other, we don't know who they're talking about.
But then you have the conversation. What could the other team be? Leave your comments below.
We'll work on it.
If you think Muse has failed in the Twitter poll, then go to the @1045 ESPN Twitter and drop your comment below the poll as to who you would have voted for if not one of the choices that Muse left you there. Muse. All right, it's after further review. So, we know Rihanna is going to be singing at halftime of the Super Bowl. Are we excited about this? Yes? Rihanna, yes? No?
Sure. I mean,
Sure?
I want her to play the hits and not the new stuff that I don't know, but I mean, sure.
Does she have new stuff?
I assume so, yeah. I want you to go up there and, like, Umbrella, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's going to happen.
Got to play the hits, man.
Do you know any other song? Oh, Disturb. You know any other
Disturbia's
ones?
a good one. What was the Take a Bow? That was a good one. That was a good Rihanna song, Take a Bow.
Paulie? Rihanna, yay? No? Yay?
Yeah, I'm excited. She's been out a while, so I'm ready to see the comeback.
Yeah.
I'm pretty fired up for Rihanna.
Puts on a good show, I've heard, so yeah.
Puts on a good show, and it's one of those things where I think even if you don't know Rihanna songs right off the top of your head, every time you hear one of the songs, you're going to go, oh, I know that. I've heard that. She's got a million of those, right? So even if you're not like a Rihanna fan, whatever, you've heard all of her stuff, so it's going to be applicable. But we also found out today that country music star Chris Stapleton is going to sing the national anthem.
Well, that's going to be good.
How do we feel about this?
That's going to be really good. Yeah, it's going to be good.
You know how they have the over-under on the amount of time to sing the anthem? I kind of feel like Stapleton will probably go over.
Yeah, I do too.
I think he'll ham it up a little.
Dude's voice is incredible too, so that should be awesome.
He's got a crazy story. He was just like a producer.
Yeah.
Or a musician, and then just started singing the tracks he was writing
He was a
songs.
writer. Yeah, he was a writer.
And he started singing them, and it's like, oh, no, he's really good. The guy who looks like Riley Cooper is really good.
For sure.
I know he is. So anyway, and I don't even know country music, but I saw him on SNL last year, and I was like, who is this guy? He was singing like the Midnight Train in Memphis or something like that. Something about a train in Memphis, whatever. And it was like, oh, my God. Really good. Southern rock.
Yeah,
you know,
kind of like some bluegrass in there a little bit, yeah.
No, not bluegrass.
A little bit in some of his songs.
Well, okay, the ones I've heard have more been like Southern rock. Not bluegrass. And then Babyface is going to perform America the Beautiful. I have no idea who Babyface is. Muse?
Nope, not a clue.
Got it. Paulie, do you know Babyface?
I know who he is. I didn't really listen to him.
Is this the whitest this show has ever been?
Is it the same thing as Babyface Ray?
I have no idea.
I'm looking
and
it
thank
up
you
right
for
now.
further. Thank you for further. Make that the poll question because that further validates the question I'm asking. The fact that none of us here know who Babyface is.
Yeah, I've never heard of that in my life. Actually,
That
Babyface.
it's a person.
Yeah,
I would
never heard
assume
of him.
I would assume him. It might be.
Well, I mean, look. Let's see what we got here.
You got some Babyface songs over there? No, I don't love Babyface. Anyway, but congrats on the 12 Grammys to Babyface. And Babyface is going to sing America the Beautiful. I like, look, the NFL is reaching a lot of different audiences. You got your country audience with Stapleton. You got your top 40 audience with Rihanna. You got a hip-hop R&B audience with Babyface. So you're really covering a lot of different demographics with the way that they're sort of divvying up all the musical responsibilities here. So that'd be pretty cool, man. I'm looking forward to it. Super Bowl is always a great time. Hopefully the game is, and I think the game this year will be fantastic. Whichever matchup you get between these four teams. I think it's gonna be spectacular. So looking forward to a great Super Bowl coming up here in a couple weeks from Sunday. All right, it's after further review. Quick break. We're heading up to Northwest Arkansas. Tigers and Hogs on the hardwood. We'll preview it next with John Nabors. Stick around.
AFR.
Brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center. You know, maybe you buy that expensive ticket to the Super Bowl, but you end up in section 600. How in the world can you see the field? Well, if you had LASIK with the Williamson Eye Center, Dr. Blake Williamson, you'd be seeing better than 20/20. Like superhuman vision. That's what I have. I'm literally seeing 2015. It's better than 20/20, which I didn't even know was possible, but it is. Refractive procedures are an amazing way to give yourself the gift of eyesight. Yeah, you can wear glasses or contacts, but if you want to be done with that forever, call the Williamson Eye Center. You tired of shoving contact lens in your eye every morning? You tired of straining to see stop signs or the TV, the crawl across the bottom? Or whenever you travel, having to get contacts and your contact case and your solution and your eye drops and the extra pair of contacts and your glasses for when you take contacts out, throw all that in the trash. Be done with it forever. The Williamson Eye Center can help. 924-2020, 924-2020, or online at williamsoneye.com, williamsoneye.com.
Corval Toyota in Opelousas is here to help you ring in the new year with no markups, and you'll never pay over MSRP. And we have new inventory arriving daily. So Happy New Year from our Corval Toyota family to yours.
I'm Chris Nakamoto, and here's what I'm working on for my stories on WBRZ Channel 2 tonight. State alcohol regulators temporarily suspended the alcohol permit for Reggie's Bar in Tigerland. It comes after Madison Brooks' death 2 weeks ago. There are questions about how underage patrons managed to gain access and get served. Tonight, we've learned new information from sources and have the latest on the investigation into her death and the alleged rape that occurred before. I'm Chris Nakamoto from WBRZ. Watch more tonight on WBRZ Channel 2.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales service and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. White Sox pitcher Mike Clevinger under investigation by Major League Baseball for domestic violence and child abuse allegations for 2 incidents during his Padres tenure. The White Sox in a statement said they were not aware of the allegations when they signed Clevinger in November 2022. 49ers defensive lineman Charles Omenihu, a key member of the team's defensive line, was arrested yesterday after a domestic violence allegation. The team says it's aware of the matter and is gathering more information. Nets superstar Kevin Durant out at least 2 more weeks with a sprained MCL. He's progressing well, though, in his recovery. Once KD does return and the Nets look to remain in the top 4 in the East, the X factor for them, Ben Simmons, believes ESPN's Vince Carter.
His aggressiveness, getting into the paint, getting shots at the rim is going to mean something because we know his ability to make other guys better. Now he has those decisions where I can attack, getting everybody, the defenses committing to me, making plays, making shooters even more wide open.
Vince Carter on NBA Today. The Lakers listing LeBron James as questionable for tonight's matchup against the Clippers because of ankle soreness.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. They're close, convenient, and have the parts you need fast, along with excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome. Nope. It's hour 2. It's the wrong hour. It's hour 2. Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. It's AFR. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
I don't blame you, Shaq. I hate myself right now. I didn't know who Babyface was, and I just screwed up the hour of the day. Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Muso. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. LSU has added a game to its future football schedule. I want to talk about that in about 15 minutes from right now. Tigers are back on the hardwood tonight. They're up in Northwest Arkansas. Take on the Hogs, the lone SEC win that LSU scored in its conference opener. They've lost 6 straight since then. John Nabors, our buddy from up there in Northwest Arkansas, is good enough to join us right now. John, we appreciate you as always. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. Did you happen to say that you didn't know who Babyface was?
Okay, so I was going to ask, are you familiar?
No, because I said the same thing on my show today, and I got ripped for it, so I am so happy that you were also in the same boat.
So listen, I'm looking right now at Twitter. So like Franklin Saint said, Babyface is an R&B legend. Clearly, Babyface 13, or did I say 12 Grammys. Like 12 Grammys, incredible. Now, I'm looking at our show text line. Let's see. Blue Gibbons said, I don't know if that's her real name, said, so the Eric Clapton song Changed the World. Babyface apparently wrote the lyrics for that song. I'm just trusting this person, by the way. I don't have that confirmed. Richie Burt said Babyface did load. Come on. God dog it. Of course, now I'm trying to read this live on air and freaking thing won't load. Whatever. It was another song that I recognized. That anyway, apparently this text app is not going to load right now and I can't see it. Anthony Parker said, you know what? Damn it, this sucks. Of course, I'm trying to read these friggin' texts live on the air and the app malfunctions. All right, whatever, John. You and I both don't know Babyface, and I'm embarrassed by it, and hopefully I'll recognize a lot of the stuff whenever they sing. All right, let's talk about awful basketball. LSU is going to play Arkansas tonight. I expected LSU to be bad. Why is Arkansas bad?
Well, there's a lot of reasons that could be chalked up to it, but the most simple answer, call it a cop-out, but you're missing Nick Smith and have been the majority of the year, who is the number one player out of high school last year, and you can't get him healthy. That has been a big problem. And then also Trevin Brazile out for the season with an ACL injury. He's in rehab right now, but those are two guys that were pivotal to this team's success this year, or at least game plan by Eric Musselman, where he said numerous times that, hey, these are the guys that we have game planned to have a part of this team and be able to have a really successful season. So they're just trying to make up for it, trying to figure it out. It's taking a little bit, but that's the simplest answer is they're missing 2 of their 3 best players on this basketball team.
Yeah, man. Having your best players helps. There's no question about that. But still, Arkansas is a 12.5-point favorite over LSU, which is telling about where LSU is presently in the Matt McMahon rebuild. If it doesn't go well for Arkansas, what would be the culprit?
Well, if it doesn't go well for Arkansas, it's the problem that really has been their issue all season long, and it's shooting. They can't shoot, and they've gotten better at it overall. I think last game against Ole Miss, they hit 8 threes, but they are a terrible three-point shooting team. They're not a great free throw shooting team, and they're not really good at anything else except if it's a dunk or a layup. So if they lose this game tonight again, it's going to be because they can't shoot the ball. Now, it's improved, as I've said. They've gotten better at certain aspects, but it's still not trustworthy. It's still not consistent enough. So if you told me LSU was going to win this game, I would look back and be like, oh, yeah, it had to definitely be because poor shooting by Arkansas.
You know, John, when LSU beat Arkansas, was at the game at the Maravich Center, and I've said this to my audience, I would have believed you if you told me LSU was going to score 60. I would not have believed you if you said LSU was going to score 60 and win. It was one of those nights for Arkansas. LSU had great defensive buy-in, and Arkansas couldn't throw it in the ocean. So it was kind of one of those nights, but LSU offensively has been exposed as well. So is there anything that LSU might be able to do tonight that could give that Arkansas give Arkansas problems on the defensive end?
I think so, because the one thing that Arkansas has, again, struggled with but gotten better at is when they go up against teams that are really physical, which I think LSU did a really good job the first time the two teams met, because one of the reasons being it was Arkansas's first true road game of the season. Mm-hmm. But the other thing is that LSU kind of bullied Arkansas a little bit. They got a lot of young players, a lot of players that haven't played in the SEC and played on a hostile environment. And I think LSU took advantage of that. And tonight, if LSU is able to do something similar, physical a little bit, make them frustrated. Arkansas is a team that has had a lot of technicals called on them. They have some young players that sometimes can be problematic, throw them out of their groove a little bit. Then that, to me, is going to be what will make them hesitate to go inside, go to the free throw line a little bit more, maybe try to be a little bit more passive offensively. If they can do those things, man, I think that's a huge possibility, because other teams have had success in it, and I don't see why LSU can't do the same thing.
He's on Twitter at Buzz, John Nabors from 103.7 The Buzz. Everybody there okay with Musselman?
Oh, yeah. I mean, this dude is incredible. Like, everybody loves Musselman, even though the year hasn't gone as ideal as what people would like to have had. He's still the dude. He's still the man, and nobody ever wants to see him leave anytime soon. He could run for governor and probably win. Okay. I didn't know. You never know, just as far as taking the temperature of a fan base when things start to go south. So, like, it's been an unexpectedly bad year for Arkansas. You just wonder. So that's the right answer. I'm glad to hear that there's sensible people there in Northwest Arkansas. I want to ask you, while I got you here, a couple of football questions. I've looked at Sam Pittman's the structure similar to what Ed Orgeron was at LSU, right? The CEO, the recruiter, high-grade assistants, delegate, all that stuff. And Ed Orgeron's inability to hire good assistants when they left was ultimately his downfall, among other things. Well, now we're going to see what Sam Pittman has, right? So you lose both of your coordinators in 1 year. Let's take them one at a time. How did he do in replacing him? We start with Dan Enos on the offensive side, replacing Kendall Briles. I think he did fine. It's a safe bet. It's not something that everybody's just going to be pumped up in arms. Oh, my goodness, we're picking up right where we left off. Everything's going to be awesome. But it's something to where he's coming back to Arkansas. They're familiar with Dan Enos, and they remember those offenses in 2015 and 2016 that were really good. And I don't want to bring up any bad memories for LSU, but I'm sure you remember it, Matt.
Of course.
In 2015, Arkansas goes down to Baton Rouge and puts it to LSU, a team that was so much better than Arkansas. So people remember those years and remember those times. And they're like, if he can replicate that, he'll do a really good job. But it's something to where Briles was wearing out his welcome with a lot of fans. People didn't like the play calling in certain situations. They felt like the inconsistencies were pretty annoying. And also the flirting with other schools, people got tired of it. So overall, I think people were not happy to see Briles go, but they were okay with it. And Enos seems to be pretty safe. So they'll see how it goes. But they could have done a lot worse in a lot of people's opinion.
What about Travis Williams on the defensive side, replacing Barry Odom?
well, as sad as it is to say, Barry Odom was a likable guy here at Arkansas, but Matt, as awful as Razorback defense was, especially in the secondary last year, people see like, well, it can't get any worse.
Yeah.
So this will be better. You're losing some players though too. Obviously, Drew Sanders was a big part of it. You have some players coming back. Like, hey, Dwight McLaughlin is a big guy to get back this year for Arkansas. So they're excited about that too. They don't know a whole lot about him. We'll see what they do with the portal and adding some depth there. But it's more of just, well, it was so bad last year. How much worse can it get? So, hey, let's give this guy a chance. Maybe he can improve it dramatically in year one.
John, do you think that KJ Jefferson is a potential Heisman candidate?
Realistically, no. I'll be honest about it. I think that he has a lot of talent. I think he's one of the better quarterbacks in the SEC for sure. But there are a lot of things about him, too, to where he's going to have to up his game if he wants to be a candidate. First of all, Arkansas has to be a better football team. We know that.
Right.
But he has to stay healthy. He didn't stay healthy last year, and that hurts a lot of different players. I mean, obviously, Hendon Hooker, I'm not trying to compare him, but when he got hurt, there went his Heisman chances. So he's had a problem staying healthy throughout the whole season. So if he can improve and getting even better under Dan Enos, stay healthy, Arkansas have a much better year, I could see it maybe being a conversation, but still to be able to be in that position at Arkansas, at a place like Arkansas, with all the great players around the conference and in the country, that'd be a tall ask for anybody.
Did you and I talk at Media Days about the wager I had with another Arkansas host about that?
No, you didn't.
I can't believe we didn't talk about this. So there's one of your Arkansas radio brethren who bet me last year that KJ Jefferson would be a Heisman finalist, and if he was, I would have to pay for the trip to New York, and if he wasn't, this person would owe me a very nice dinner. And by the way, I'm not a cheap date. So needless to say, I collected, and I'm trying to decide if I should go double or nothing.
Well, first off, can you tell me who it was so I can go fight that person, whoever said that? That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. Who would make that bet? That makes Arkansas radio look horrible.
I don't want to tell you. I'll tell you off air. Because I like the guy. He's like a friend. I like the guy a lot. It was just a terrible. Do you want to guess? Who do you think it would be?
I guess it would depend on if I like this person or if I don't like this person, because I have both of them here in the state of Arkansas.
I don't know. I don't know about your internal fights there.
Well, how about this? Was it a younger guy or an older guy?
Let's go. I don't know how you would define younger or older. Like there's.
Okay, I would say
not
like,
some.
If it's is he a college kid, like 20s?
No. But also not someone about to retire. You know what I mean?
Right. Okay. I have a good idea of who you're referring to then. So, but yeah, that's terrible. That is a terrible bet.
It was a terrible bet. I was so glad to make it. It was so easy. So do you want to bet me for this year?
No,
okay.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Listen, I'm the biggest Razorback homer there is. I'll fully admit it. But, geez, I at least try to use some senses. That's the stupidest thing I've heard all day.
That's so good. It's so good. All right. Hey, pipe down a little bit, all right? I want him to bet me double or nothing this year. Wait, all right, real quick before you go. Anthony Parker said, "I'm disappointed that you don't know who Babyface is, considering how much rap and hip hop you listen to. Scone, you let me down today." So I'm letting my audience down today that I didn't know who Babyface was. Richie Burt said, here, Babyface did "When Can I See You?" That, like, I think if that's "When Can I See," is that one? When Can I See? Can you pull that up? Is that what that is, Muse? Does that sound familiar, John?
No, not to me. I mean, if I hear it.
Is it "When Can I See You Again"? Babyface. I don't know, man. I obviously have. I got work to do, man. I have work to do, and I rap, hip hop, R&B, but I have my windows, right? Like of eras that I know, and then the times in my life where it's just like. Is this Babyface? Oh, hell yeah.
This is "When Can I See You Again?"
Of course
right
I know.
Here.
Of course I know this. Yeah. This is a jam right here, dude. Oh, hell yeah. Dude, you know this, John?
Yes, okay, I do. Yeah, I know this song. So this is Babyface right now. This is it.
We have successfully found Oh, babyface. Oh, no. All right. He's John Nabors. Y'all follow him on Twitter at BuzzJohnNabors. And he's going to bet me that KJ Jefferson's going to be a Heisman finalist this year. All right. Thank you, John. Enjoy the game tonight, but it won't be a good one.
All right, man. I appreciate it. I really hope it's not. Have a good one.
All right. We'll see you. That's John Nabors. This is After Further Review. Stick around.
AFR.
I am so pleased to welcome the Watermark Hotel and the Renaissance Hotel to the AFR family. They love to say, I was talking to Allison Crump, who handles the marketing, of course, all the booking for the events. We're in the business of saying yes. Whatever event you have, from a board meeting, dozen or so people, and you want an elegant boardroom, they can accommodate you, or their big ballroom at the Renaissance that can hold up to 500 people. They've got 13,000 square foot at the Renaissance Hotel of meeting space. Learn more. Of course, you go to the website. You can dial them in the greater Baton Rouge area. But no matter what type of event you're looking to accommodate, or the two restaurants, the Gregory inside of the Watermark or Tallulah inside of the Renaissance Hotel, it's casual, upscale dining at the Renaissance, perfect for a business lunch. Bypass the drive-thru and go see our friends at the Renaissance. The Renaissance and the Watermark.
Bayou Ford has $4,000 off MSRP plus $1,000 Ford credit cash on new 22 Ford F-150 XLT trucks. That's $5,000 off plus 0% financing. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Have you ever heard the tale of the misunderstood bull? A menacing beast that was born to float. A force of nature. The embodiment of grace. Quite grand, yet quiet and nimble. The Infiniti QX80.
Experience the Infiniti QX80 at your local Infiniti retailer.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, we're rolling through a Tuesday edition of AFR. Glad to have you aboard with us. There is a little bit of LSU football news today as a future scheduling news. Nothing gets you going like future football scheduling updates in the middle of January. LSU has announced they will be back in Houston at NRG Stadium for the Texas kickoff in Houston on Labor Day weekend of 2027 against the University of Houston Cougars. So LSU will take on Houston. Keep in mind a couple of things. Number one, by then, Texas and Oklahoma will be in the SEC. So we don't yet know what the SEC scheduling format is going to be, if they will have gone to 9 games, if they'll stay at 8. We're all assuming they're going to go to 9, but we'll see. And if it is 9, do they maintain the Power 5 non-conference requirement? Remember, right now in the SEC, there's 8 conference games, and every team has to schedule a Power 5 non-conference opponent. Well, of course, LSU's played Florida State this year. They'll play Florida State next year. They got future series with Clemson coming up. UCLA will be in Baton Rouge. They've got a neutral site against Southern Cal out in Las Vegas. So a lot of those ahead. Remember, Houston joins the Big 12 this year. With the Big 12 being gutted a bit by realignment down to 10 teams, and then, of course, they're going to lose Texas and Oklahoma. They boosted their numbers by adding Cincinnati and Houston and Central Florida and BYU. So they're all coming in this summer, the summer of 2023. So by the time LSU plays Houston, they will be a Big 12 school, which technically is a Power 5 opponent. So to that end, I don't hate it. The only game you have scheduled so far in 2027 is a home game against UTSA. My assumption is that was scheduled. Frank Wilson was the head coach at UTSA, which, of course, now he's on LSU staff. But you had UTSA coming in on September the 11th, so they'll open that season against Houston and then play against Houston in Houston, and then they'll play UTSA in Baton Rouge. So there's a couple of things. Obviously, LSU had started to get on a trend of home and home series. You're going to play Florida State this year, but they scheduled a home and home with UCLA. You do have the neutral site in 2024 against Southern Cal and Vegas, but you also play UCLA at home. And then in 2025 and 2026, you're going to play the home and home with Clemson. 2025, you're at Clemson. 2026, they're here. And then obviously in 2027 now, you have the neutral site game with the University of Houston there in Houston. Then in 2029 and 2030, you've got Arizona State, home and home with Arizona State. So this would satisfy that requirement of the Power 5. LSU loves to play in Houston, while, of course, we would love to see on-campus home games. And to their credit, LSU has done a lot of that. That also is sort of a one-off where you had a gap in your schedule, where you've got the 1 year where you need a Power 5, and if you're trying to schedule a home and home, and you've got every year taken up after that, how do you make it fit? Does that make sense? So 2023, you're going to play Florida State. 2024, you've got UCLA and USC. 25 and 26, it's the home and home with Clemson. 27 is kind of that gap, right? And so then 2029 and 2030, you're going to play Arizona State. So you needed a game in 2027, and I guess 2028 as well. So they could have gone with a home and home there. But I do understand the opportunity to get to Houston, where they do recruit heavily. It's such a hotbed, and LSU wants to have a presence there. It's the largest alumni base outside of the state of Louisiana. You all know all this. It's why LSU plays games there. Of course, they had the opportunity to play BYU in Houston before the hurricane hit back in 2017. That game was moved to New Orleans, but they played Wisconsin in the the Texas Kickoff Classic there. So I can't say that I love it, but I also don't hate it. And I think this is done with the assumption that by the time you get to 2027, you're probably playing 9 conference games. And so if you have the opportunity to add that game where you're not playing it at home and it's against a team that you really should beat, and you're going to play it at a neutral site, look, LSU will have more fans. Even though it's in Houston, LSU will have more fans than Houston will have at that game. and you're playing it in an NFL venue, you'll be one of those Kickoff Classic TV windows. So LSU today again announces they'll play University of Houston in the Texas Kickoff Classic in 2027. So future scheduling coming into focus a little bit. All right, it's after further review. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here. Brought to you by HUDCO Roofing, HUDCORoofing.com. Tell you every day, do business with someone you know. HUDCO Roofing, HUDCORoofing.com. Weather in Baton Rouge today is awful. Really, a lot of parts of our state with the rain, but also the winds. Wind gusts up to 50 miles an hour today. If you find yourself with roof damage, you can always give us a shout at HUDCO Roofing. If you go to the website, HUDCORoofing.com, you see at the top of the page the phone number for Baton Rouge and Bossier, New Orleans, and Lafayette. So no matter where you are in the state, call the office nearest you, and we'll get an inspector out to your home just as soon as we can to get up on the roof, to walk it, to mark it, to chalk it, and to let you know if you have roof damage or if you're good to go. A lot of signs of damage, of course. If you have water in the house, if you see shingles on the ground, I'd also recommend go look at your downspouts from your gutters. If you start to see granules that's coming from your shingles, it's a great sign that you have roof deterioration and deterioration of your shingles. Could be a time for repairs or replacement. We could walk you through all of it. It's at HUDCO Roofing and HUDCORoofing.com. HUDCO is Louisiana's first Louisiana-based certified fortified roofing company. You could lower your insurance premiums by as much as 50% if you have a fortified roof. Learn more at HUDCORoofing.com. Do business with someone you know. HUDCO Roofing and HUDCORoofing.com. All right, it is after further review, y'all. Jeff Duncan's going to be with us to start hour number 3. And we're going to talk to him about Sean Payton. Just give me a poll question update if you would. There were 2 reports today. Jeff Duncan first reporting that Sean Payton's second interview with Denver has been postponed, and or it's been delayed, I should say. And that Payton will interview with Arizona on Thursday. Also, Diana Rossini reported today that there's a mystery team that is sort of lying in wait to see what happens with Sean Payton, and if they get their ducks in a row, could jump into the fray. Now, she did not list that team, so that's the focus of today's poll question.
Yeah, who is the mystery team looking at Sean Payton? That's the Citizens Bank poll question. Dallas leads the way, 47.6%. Tampa is in second there.
The Tampa thing makes sense because that's the best way that Tampa could keep Tom Brady. And let's be honest, Todd Bowles, I mean, I don't know if you want to look. They already fired Byron Leftwich. They've made him the scapegoat. Better than firing your running game coordinator, Rouser. Oh, that's pretty cool. They just had Angel Reese up on around the horn.
Hey,
we got that
out.
We got that on the rundown for next hour. So I want to talk about Angel Reese the night she had last night. But and as I look down on my Twitter, like literally as I refresh the Twitter feed, it's Angel Reese dancing a TikTok with Kim Mulkey and some of the other players.
She's everywhere, man.
She kind of is everywhere.
Definition of swag.
She's had a hell of a week, man.
Mm-hmm.
A hell of a week. But I forgot what I was talking about. Anyway, we're going to talk
Todd
about
Bowles or something
we'll talk about Todd
All
Bowles,
right.
Sean Payton, all that stuff with Jeff Duncan in 30 minutes at the top of hour number 3. So if you have to leave, come on back. Jeff Duncan's going to be here. We're looking forward to that conversation. Okay, it's after further review. Quick break. When we come back, one thing I want to talk about, y'all heard Tom Brady, right? Tom Brady dropped a couple of F-bombs at Jim Gray when he asked him the question about retiring. I actually understand where Tom Brady's coming from with this. And I think this is one of the most relatable things that Tom Brady maybe has ever done publicly. I'll explain what I mean next.
AFR.
Love telling you about New Orleans Flooring. Of course, 2 locations in New Orleans, Metairie to be exact, but also on Airline Highway in Prairieville. So if you're going south on Airline Highway into Prairieville, just past the Walmart on the right, you'll see New Orleans Flooring, big blue sign right there. And I really encourage you can go to the website. Website's nolaflooring.com, nolaflooring.com. Really encourage you to go in because they have more than 1 million square foot of product in stock. I say that, it kind of rolls off the tongue, but when you actually conceptualize it or when you see it, it's jaw-dropping. And it's why, because they have all the product on hand, you can order today and they can install tomorrow. If it's carpet, tile, hardwood, laminate, waterproof, doesn't matter. And most importantly, they're helping your budget and your bottom line. You can save 40, 50% on top quality flooring. It's amazing. Check them out. NOLAflooring.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $8,500 off new 2022 Ram 1500s. New 2022 Ram 1500 trucks on our lot now with $8,500 off MSRP. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
Time doesn't stop, and the world keeps spinning. Community, culture, and communications. The powerful circle that connects us together. We're creating the next evolution, a network built for every possibility, moving faster than ever before, streaming us forward into the future. And the revolution is closer than you think. RTC, ETEL, and Vision are now Rev. New name, same company.
Have you ever heard the tale of the misunderstood bull? A menacing beast who was born to float. A force of nature. The embodiment of grace. Quite grand, yet
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, rolling along, and glad to have you hanging out with us here. Oh, by the way, I'm expecting maybe an update on Zion Williamson here in a bit. So stay tuned. Willie Green's going to meet the media at 5:15 before tonight's game against Denver. And we're, of course, waiting to see what happens with Brandon Ingram if he's going to play tonight. But I'm told we're going to get an update on Zion as well. So stay tuned for that. Hope to have that to you shortly. I'm literally like maybe in the next 15 minutes or so. So as we mentioned, Willie Green's going to meet the media at 5:15. Suppose there's going to be something coming out before then. So we'll share it with you as soon as it drops. Also, there's something else. I can't find it. Hell with it. Tom Brady went on Sirius XM's Let's Go podcast. It's his podcast with Jim Gray. He's got a great relationship with Jim Gray. They are friends. Tom Brady wouldn't do the podcast with Jim Gray if he didn't like Jim Gray. Clearly, this is his hand-picked, chosen host of this podcast, okay? So for a little context there, this isn't a guy who does a podcast and Tom Brady went on as a guest. It's Tom Brady's podcast that he does with Jim Gray. Jim Gray asked Tom Brady about his future. Give a listen.
Tom, you're leaving everybody guessing. You've said you'll take your time. Do you have any type of a timetable as to what you might want to do regarding your football career?
Jim, if I knew what I was going to fucking do, I'd have already done it. Okay? I'm taking it a day at a time.
I sense you're antagonized by the question.
You're scratching.
It's only the question that everybody wants to hear.
You're scratchy. I appreciate your asking. Thank you.
So you heard kind of a little chuckle at the end, and you might say that was Tom playing off the awkwardness of him cursing, but Jim Gray certainly didn't find it awkward. And I know how people are going to interpret that. It's Tom Brady's scuffling at the question. And y'all know me. I usually will defend people asking tough questions. It's the job. It's not always fun. And I've told the story a bajillion times. And it's odd that this is actually Jim Gray. And the illustration was the All-Star game around the turn of the century when Major League Baseball was celebrating the turn of the century, and Jim Gray was on the field with Pete Rose. He had the one-day exemption, right, to rejoin all the baseball greats for that day. And Jim Gray on the field on NBC, live on TV, said to Pete Rose, "It's a great night for baseball. Are you willing to be remorseful and admit you bet on baseball?" And Pete Rose basically bashed Jim Gray live on the air, and then NBC was flooded with calls to fire Jim Gray. Well, Jim Gray was right. He was right to ask the question. Like, it was the question everybody wanted to know. And you could say time and place, whatever, but it's interesting that this is Jim Gray here. And the point is that people don't buy Jim Gray jerseys. They buy Pete Rose jerseys, and they buy Tom Brady jerseys. But sometimes tough questions have to be asked. So if you're doing an interview with Tom Brady and you don't ask Tom Brady about his future, you're not doing your job. But I totally get Tom Brady's response. And I think for a guy that's worth hundreds of millions of dollars, was married to the most famous supermodel in the world, has won more Super Bowl championships than anyone, by any measure, lives a life that none of us can imagine. Is that fair? That response is one of the most relatable human things that Tom Brady could possibly do. And it's not because he's gone through a lot this year. Look, he's lost millions with the FTX thing. He and his wife have divorced. He had a terrible season, his worst statistical season, all that stuff. We have all been there before where we have been annoyed with something and we snap at the people we love, right? We snap at our friends. How many times have you had something going on in your life and your friend asks you about it? You go, "I don't bleeping know, man. God." And it's your friend. You're like, "Man, sorry." And then you just bro hug it out and it's over. You know what I mean? That's what Tom Brady just did with Jim Gray. Because Tom Brady, every day of his life, every day of his life, he is asked about his future. Is he going to retire? When's he going to do it? When's he going to announce? Every day of his life. And when you keep answering the same question over and over and over and over and over again, eventually it boils over. And you blow. You blow your top. And it's easier to do that around people you love. So it's easier to do that when you're on your podcast with Jim Gray than it is to do it, say, in a post-game interview on the sideline with Melissa Stark or whomever. So I get it. We've all been there and done that. Look, my wife does this to me a lot, okay? It's just not good or bad, just what it is. She will say, for example, "Hey, would you mind taking out the trash?" "Of course, babe. Of course I'll take out the trash." 10 minutes later, "Hey, babe, could you take out the trash?" "Yeah, I'm going to take out the trash." An hour later, "Hey, you got to take out the trash." And eventually, like, "I know the trash has to go out. The garbage man's not coming until like 5 a.m. It's 9:30. I'm going to take out the trash. I know it has to go out. It ain't going nowhere. Doesn't have to be done right now." And so we've all been there. If it's the trash or something silly, or if it's Tom Brady, his version to that is his retirement question. Like, we've all been there. It's very relatable that you can be tired of being asked the same thing over and over and over and over again, and eventually you blow up. And usually you do it around people that you know and love best. And I think that's what Tom Brady did. So he'll make his decision whenever it's time. And I think the biggest part of that decision is what options are going to be available to him. Because Tom Brady is a free agent and can go anywhere. We've talked about why Las Vegas makes the most sense. Of course, the head coach there was his offensive coordinator in New England. He could play with Devontae Adams. He'd be closer to his roots out in California. Lots of reasons why that would make a lot of sense. good offensive weapons, Josh McDaniels there, all those reasons. Maybe he stays in Tampa if Tampa is the mystery team and brings in Sean Payton. I don't know. We don't know what it's going to be. But if the right situation arises, then maybe he goes there. Or maybe he doesn't go back to Tampa. Maybe he does retire. Like, I believe him when he says any of those options, all of those options could be on the table. And that he doesn't really know. Wait until you see how all the coaching carousel happens and what options may be there for him. But I just thought it was a very relatable moment for Tom Brady. There was no animus. Jim Gray wasn't off-put by the response. I think he was just a guy that was tired of being asked the same question 1,000 times and blew his top for a quick second. So it's all good. We'll learn when we do. All right, it's after further review. By the way, NFL playoffs this weekend. You want to bet on them, you can do so at the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Oh, that was the other thing. Otter gave us his pick. Okay, an early pick from the Otter. By the way, Jimmy yesterday made sure he got his pick in early, which was a 5:30 tip. What was the game use? I'm blanking on it.
It was on Northwestern.
Over, Wisconsin.
Yeah, Northwestern.
And it hit. So good for the Otter. I played it. 5:30 Central Time tip. Otter's going with Penn State against Rutgers. Penn State is plus 6.5. So take Penn State in the points if you want to play. Of course, you can play at the DraftKings Sportsbook. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. If you want to play along with the Otter, 5:30 tip. So that game will have tipped before Jimmy comes on the show. So if you want to get in on the action, play along with Otterlocks. The early tip there is 5:30 Central with Penn State plus 6.5. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Remember, use the promo code Baton Rouge. You got conference championship games this weekend. 4 teams, 2 games. Bet just $5. If you're a new customer, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Bet just $5. Use the promo code Baton Rouge and bet just $5. They'll give you $200 in free bets. Maybe you're using another app. Okay. Perfect time to download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Be a new customer. Bet just $5. They'll give you $200 in free bets. It's at the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Again, use the promo code Baton Rouge when you download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Conference championship games this weekend, of course. You got NFL, you got NBA, you got college basketball, you got NHL. Bet on all of it at the DraftKings Sportsbook. 21 and older, physically present in Louisiana. Select parishes only. Bonus issued as free bets. One free bet issued based on amount of initial losing NFL bet up to $10. Eligibility, wagering, and deposit restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms. Licensing partner Gold Nugget like Charles. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-426-2537. All right, it is after further review. Have you seen the TV ratings for the divisional round? Y'all, we are a football-obsessed society. By the nature of the fact that you're listening to a sports talk radio show, I'm not breaking news to you, but the divisional weekend games averaged 37.1 million viewers. That is an 11% increase from the 5-year average from 2018 to 2022. Average out the divisional round audience from 2018 to 2020 to those 5 years. This is an 11% increase from that average. Cowboys-Niners drew 45.7 million viewers. Stunning. 7% increase over last year's Sunday night game between the Bills and the Chiefs. That was a pretty good game, by the way, between the Bills and the Chiefs. I don't know if you remember it. Second biggest audience in the divisional round since January 2017 when the Packers and Cowboys drew 48 million. Incredible. I mean, for as much as we talk about how much we hate roughing penalties and how you're turning it into flag football, as much as we debate what is a catch and we're annoyed by that, as much as some dopes on Twitter argue about how games are fixed, the very real danger with things like CTE, the terrifying, almost tragic situation involving Damar Hamlin. I mean, we are just absolutely obsessed with football, and we keep coming back. They could play the game with these international games. They take away home games from you and put them at 9 a.m. in London or in Germany. They make you pay regular season prices for preseason tickets, arguing about neutral site championship games. Every way they can, and every opportunity, they'll find a way to stick it to you. And we keep coming back. We are just a football-obsessed society. And we'll all be watching on Sunday as well because you're going to have 2 fantastic championship games. And however the Super Bowl lines up, you're going to end up with a spread somewhere around a pick 'em with whatever matchup you have of these four teams that advance to the Super Bowl. It's going to be spectacular theater on Sunday. Looking forward to it. All right, after further review, final break of hour number 2. When we come back, Muse Live Tigers and the Pros. Jeff Duncan in 15 minutes. Don't you move.
AFR.
Get on by Pluckers. Tuesday is a great night to get by Pluckers, especially when both the Tigers and the Pelicans are on the floor, and you have sports trivia at Pluckers on Nicholson tonight and every Tuesday. And, of course, kids eat free. So let's spell it all out. Okay. You've got LSU basketball tonight against Arkansas, and you've got the Pels tonight against Denver. You've got a 6 o'clock tip for LSU, a 7 o'clock tip for the Pels, and 8:30 sports trivia for Pluckers. So make a night of it. Get on by Go right now. Knock off of work. Get on by Pluckers. Nicholson location, Bluebonnet location, sports trivia at Nicholson at 8:30. Watch LSU-Arkansas at 6, Pels Nuggets at 7. Eat some wings, drink some beer, hang around. Sports trivia hosted by Hunt Palmer fires up at 8:30. Test your sports knowledge, win Pluckers gift cards, spin the prize wheel, make a night of it. And remember, every Tuesday, kids eat free at Pluckers, where if you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Time doesn't stop, and the world keeps spinning. Community, culture, and communications, the powerful circle that connects us together. We're creating the next evolution, a network built for every possibility, moving faster than ever before, streaming us forward into the future. And the revolution is closer than you think. RTC, ETEL, and Vision are now Rev. New name, same company.
Bayou Ford has $4,000 off MSRP plus $1,000 Ford credit cash on new 22 Ford F-150 XLT trucks. That's $5,000 off plus 0% financing. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, wrapping up hour number 2. As expected, we do have the breaking news on Zion. The Pelicans just minutes ago tweeting an update on Zion. All right, here you go. He was recently reevaluated for his right hamstring injury. The reevaluation showed that his hamstring is healing as expected and progressing well with his recovery. The statement went on to say he will continue his rehabilitation process, which includes strengthening his hamstring and gradually progressing to more movement. He will be reevaluated again in 2 weeks. So at least 2 more weeks now for the Pelicans without Zion. It certainly looks like they're just pressing toward the All-Star break. We'll delve into this a little bit deeper, but if we kind of glance at the schedule here, and you're at least 2 weeks out from Zion. Let me look at this real quick. I'm going to move quickly. My apologies. I'm doing this on the fly as we just got this, but okay. So 2 weeks from now, you would be talking about February 7th, thereabouts, is the Tuesday game against Atlanta, when they would then reevaluate to determine when he might come back. And it looks like, correct me if I'm wrong in this date, but it looks like the All-Star break would be the middle of February. I don't know the date of the All-Star game, but they play on Wednesday, February 15th, and they don't play again until Thursday, the 23rd. My assumption is that would be the All-Star break.
Sunday, February 19th is the All-Star game.
Okay, so it's that week, exactly. Mm-hmm. So it kind of feels like if you're going to wait until February the 7th to reevaluate him and he misses another week, well, then he gets the week off for the All-Star break as well, then return after the All-Star break. Again, I don't know anything other than what we just heard in the statement from the Pelicans. That would seem to make the most sense. Get him back after the All-Star break, let him be 100% healed, and then really make a push the second half of February all the way through hopefully through June. Okay, Muso, Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where Baton Rouge gets engaged.
We start in the NBA G League. Emmett Williams, 10 minutes off the bench last night for the Ontario Clippers, and hell of a 10 minutes. 10 points in the 10 minutes. Point per minute for Emmett Williams. 4 of 5 from the floor, 2 of 3 from behind the arc. He added 3 rebounds to fill out the stat sheet as well. A cool plus 14 turned in 10 minutes for Emmett Williams. And the Ontario Clippers won their game and scored 147 points.
Emmett Williams got a fro. Wow. Look at that picture.
I kind of like it. You think he still wears the short shorts?
He's got to. It's his thing. Huh.
I like
I almost didn't even recognize him. I mean,
it's good.
Did he have? Did he wear cornrows?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, so he just got him up. Okay. I've never seen him wear that hairdo.
I like it though.
Yeah,
it's good.
Makes you look taller.
Yeah, I mean, technically you are though, right? Count the hair. Yeah, I like it. All right, NBA action from last night. We'll move on. Naz Reid, 9 minutes off the bench for the Timberwolves. Not his best. Just 1 of 2. 2 points, a rebound, and a block, and a steal. You know why, though?
Should have stayed.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Tari Eason got a start for the Houston Rockets last night against those Minnesota Timberwolves. He turned in a near double-double. 26 minutes for Tari, 5 of 8 from the floor, 11 points, the 9 rebounds, so falling just 1 rebound short, but just completely stuffing the stat sheet. 3 assists, 3 steals, 2 blocks to fill out the night for Tari Eason. And the Houston Rockets got a rare win on the season. Good for them.
Yeah, good for them.
Trendon Watford for the Blazers last night. 5 minutes off the bench, 6 points, making the most of that time. A rebound and a block for Watford. He was perfect from the floor, 2 of 2, 50% from the charity stripe. And finally, we wrap up with the PGA Tour. The next stop, the Farmers Insurance Open at Torrey Pines. That gets underway tomorrow. Early start, not Thursday, Wednesday. Ben Taylor in the field from LSU. 12:50 Central Standard Time. He will tee off. That's Tigers in the Pros.
Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, LMFJ.com. That's LMFJ.com. For Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, gentlemen, thrill her with a gift in the red box. Lee Michaels has been doing that for more than 40 years in the Baton Rouge area with 2 locations, corporate in Bocage and in the Mall of Louisiana. 9 locations in all, from New Orleans, Lafayette, North Louisiana, even outside of Louisiana. So visit the website at lmfj.com, lmfj.com, for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Gentlemen, thrill her. You will be the hero with her and her friends. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com. All right, Jeff Duncan will join us coming up right after SportsCenter. Talk all things Sean Payton, his future. Also next hour, got to get some thoughts on the LSU Lady Tigers, 20-0, and a record-setting night for Angel Reese. We're going to get to that here in Hour 3 and a preview of LSU and Arkansas in hoops. It is after further review. Hour number 3 is staring you straight in the face. We're glad to have you aboard with us. If you miss anything, remember AFR On Demand presented by Breck Golf. It's there for you. Hour number 3 of AFR is coming up right after SportsCenter. Don't you move.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service, ShawbillsTire.com. I talk about Shawbills customer service all the time. And I would really encourage you to do this. Go to the website and hit the About tab. And when you scroll down, you'll read Shawbill's story about their 50 years of service. But what you're going to stumble upon is what they call their Customer Bill of Rights. At Shawbill's, for 50 years, service has been their highest priority. And so they've created a Customer Bill of Rights. It's their pledge to you. The right to our responsiveness and respect. The right to be sold only what you need. The right to a clear explanation of costs. The right to professionals working for you. The right to know the status of your work. The right to a comfortable place to wait. And the right to be our most important customer. Those values are why they've been around for 55 years. It's Shawbills, where we keep you rolling.
I'm Chris Nakamoto, and here's what I'm working on for my stories on WBRZ Channel 2 tonight. State alcohol regulators temporarily suspended the alcohol permit for Reggie's Bar in Tigerland. It comes after Madison Brooks' death 2 weeks ago. There are questions about how underage patrons managed to gain access and get served. Tonight, we've learned new information from sources and have the latest on the investigation into her death and the alleged rape that occurred before. I'm Chris Nakamoto from WBRZ. Watch more tonight on WBRZ Channel 2.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $8,500 off new 2022 Ram 1500s. New 2022 Ram 1500 trucks on our lot now with $8,500 off MSRP. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Time doesn't stop, and the world keeps spinning. Community, culture, and communications, the powerful circle that connects us together. We're creating the next evolution. A network built for every possibility, moving faster than ever before, streaming us forward into the future. And the revolution is closer than you think. RTC, ETEL, and Vision are now Rev. New name, same company.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. White Sox pitcher Mike Clevinger under investigation by Major League Baseball following allegations of domestic violence involving the mother of his 10-month-old daughter and child abuse during his Padres tenure. The White Sox said they were not aware of the allegations when they signed Clevinger in November. 49ers defensive lineman Charles Omenihu, a key member of the team's D-line, arrested yesterday after a domestic violence allegation. The team says it's aware of the matter and is gathering more information. NBA Nets will be without Kevin Durant at least 2 more weeks as he continues his recovery from a sprained MCL. As KD progresses well in his recovery, Brooklyn hoping for Kyrie Irving's dominance to continue, says ESPN's Jalen Rose.
And not just scoring the ball. We know he's as dynamic as it gets, handling the ball, scoring the ball, jumping off of both feet. But the playmaking, making people around him better, dropping it off to Claxton, making the game easier for him. The leadership.
Brooklyn's currently 4th in the Eastern Conference. Lakers listing LeBron James questionable tonight against the Clippers with ankle soreness.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Looking for a career you'll love with flexibility, great pay, and benefits, and one of the country's top workplaces? Come join their growing team. Go to progressive.com/careers and apply online today.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Hour 3. Got it right this time. Off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
So. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you're driving home with us. I am really mad at Jeff Duncan. Just very mad. He tweeted a bit ago, Sean Payton's in New Orleans for a business commitment that has zero to do with the Saints. Carry on. Jeff, why would you go ruin all of our internet fun like that with your facts and whatnot?
Yeah, I've already angered all of the Saints Twitter with that one. But look, I had to at least let people know, Matt, that he's not here to become the Saints' new head coach, which is what I think a lot of people were speculating on.
Or maybe he is. And this little story about it being a business commitment is just to throw us all off the scent. See, I'm trying to get it going again, Jeff.
I like it.
All right.
Actually, he's here. You've probably seen him a bunch of times promoting Zebra technology, and that's the technology that's next gen stats uses with the chips and the footballs and the shoulder pads. They are having their convention here in New Orleans, so he's at that.
Okay. Well, he manages to get to that convention in between, I guess, jet setting all over for all these interviews and whatnot. You also pointed out that Payton had his interview with Carolina on Monday and will meet with the Cardinals on Thursday. What's going on with the Denver interview being postponed?
I think it's nothing more, as I understand it, than Denver wanting the majority owner, Rob Walton, to be involved. And Rob Walton is on a hunting trip and is not going to be back in Denver. So when he gets back, I think you'll start seeing all the second interviews with the finalists start lining up in Denver. So it's not just Sean Payton. It's the other coaches involved with trying to get there with Rob Walton.
Jeff, is that a pretty common protocol for these coaching searches, that there would be a multi-interview process?
I think everyone's different, to be honest with you, Matt. I think from the outset, the Penner-Walton family group has tried to be very exhaustive and take their time. I mean, this is their first real coaching hire. And I think they want to get it right. They've had
3 different assistant coaches in Denver. The last 3 head coaches were former assistants, had no head coaching experience, and I think they want to find a coach that's got a little more big picture vision. I mean, I've seen Greg Penner use the word CEO type. That's why I really feel like Denver, the coach that they say they're looking for is almost a carbon copy of what Sean Payton's strengths are. So it makes a lot of sense that they would be perceived as a favorite right now, just because of what I've seen coming out of their camp as what they're looking for.
Jeff Duncan's with us on Twitter at @JeffDuncan_. Of course, you can read his stuff at NOLA.com. Are you what do you feel about the reports of Sean Payton's possible compensation, the $20 to $25 million a year?
Well, I think it's definitely accurate. I mean, I think I've said this before. I tweeted it out. I don't think people understand, but these NFL head coaches are making a lot more than what's being reported, Matt. I mean, first of all, the only people that know truly what a head coach in the NFL is making are his agent, the owner, maybe the general manager, and the head coach. Not a lot of people know. There's no contract you can get to like a player with the NFL Players Association. That's why we know all the intimate details of player contracts. And basically, these coaches' contracts are what the agent tells a reporter. So you're not actually seeing the contract. And from what I understand, these coaches make a lot more than what is actually reported, and that $20 million is not unheard of for an elite NFL head coach.
Okay. And weren't there reports, Jeff, that Miami was going to do a $100 million deal for Sean Payton, a 4 to 5 year deal? I mean, that would line up with those numbers. So
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I mean, Sean Payton was making $16 to $17 million a year with the Saints.
Okay.
And it was never reported that high.
Okay. That is a bit stunning. I mean, weren't the numbers that we always heard in the $8 to $10 million range, somewhere around there?
I've seen 10 to 12.
Okay. What
people don't see them is because they use a little bit of a different accounting. They kind of hide some of the salary into a marketing deal, so they're actually making $12 million from the team, and then marketing becomes another part of it. It's a bunch of money gymnastics.
Sure, how it's all structured. I understand that. It doesn't matter how you structure it. The number's the same for the coach or whoever's receiving it. I mean, it still hits the bank account the same. What about the compensation for the Saints, Jeff? I know you've talked about this, and there have been different and varying reports about what the Saints may be seeking. Any clarity there?
No, I don't think anybody knows the clarity right now. I know Mickey Loomis wants a first-round draft pick minimum, and I don't think that necessarily has to be this year. I think he would settle for one in a future year, depending on which team it is. I think every team, it's a different calculus, Matt. I mean, because of what they have available, because of where they might draft, where they might be next year. You could make an argument right now that Denver's first-round pick this year wouldn't be nearly as valuable as in a future year if you think they're not going to be as good, because the first-round pick they have this year is the 49ers. So, you know what I mean? He's doing a little bit of team-to-team, I think, calculus on the compensation. But I do know he wants a first-round draft pick, and I think he would want more than that, but I'm not sure he's going to get more than that.
Okay. Well, why not?
Well, I mean, think about it this way. It could get to the point of Sean Payton saying, I'm going to coach this team, Team X, and the team saying we want him. At some point, it could go to arbitration. If the Saints push and say he can't go there, and Sean Payton says, well, I'm going to start coaching the team, I'm signing the contract. I mean, it could get that contentious. It certainly happened. There's a precedent there. It happened with Bill Parcells and the Jets and Patriots. If you look back at that deal, Parcells, that case had to get settled by Paul Tagliabue as an arbitrator. And I think it could get to that point here if both sides dig in. I'll be surprised if it gets to that point, but I don't think it's set in stone that whatever the Saints want, they're going to get.
I got two more. Is it realistic to think that the Saints would trade, air quotes, trade Sean Payton within the division?
I do if it came to enormous compensation that would be too good to be true. But I agree with you. I think it's very much a long shot. And I'll tell you why. I think it's a lose-lose. I think it's a lose for Sean Payton because I think there's a huge segment of the fan base that's already upset that he walked away. And as a lot of fans say, left them in a tough time. I don't agree with that, but that's some of the sentiment. And I think they're only going to be more upset if he goes to Carolina in the division. And I think it's a loss for Mickey Loomis if Sean Payton goes to Carolina and starts beating the Saints twice a year and winning the division. I don't see how people are going to forgive him for that. So I think it's a long shot for both those men. It's not a winning situation for either one. And I know they both want this to kind of be a winning outcome for both sides.
Jeff, I'm sure you saw Diana Rossini's quote tweet of your report earlier alluding to some type of mystery team that could jump into the fray if they have their ducks in a row, as she reported. Do you have any idea as to who that might be?
No, I don't. And Diana's a great reporter, so I'm sure there's substance to it. I'm surprised that it would be somebody like Dallas, just because I know Jerry Jones has already come out and said that he is supporting Mike McCarthy and that he wouldn't even move on from him if they lost to Tampa. And, of course, they didn't. Mm-hmm. So I would be surprised if it was Dallas. But it also could be, an agent or someone from Payton's camp trying to stir up a little leverage there. I wouldn't put that past anybody. This thing's been a crazy roller coaster ride, and there's certainly a lot of games being played.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating to see when that roller coaster comes to a stop and there is some finality. The last thing is, you mentioned that the longer this goes on, the likelihood of Payton staying at Fox increases. Jeff, I hesitate to say, what percentage do you put, but how realistic is that? What situation would have to unfold for Sean Payton to go back and do another year of TV?
Well, here's the way I would answer that. Sean Payton has been leaning to staying at Fox from the outset. So that's where he was at before he went into the interview process. And from people close to him, they told me he would need to be blown away or made an offer he couldn't refuse. It was too good to be true to leave. So it's more than likely that's where he's at right now, because he obviously hasn't had an offer yet, and it's going to have to be something that's spectacular. So I think he came into it with that being where he's going to be next year. And I think that surprises a lot of people because they think, why is he even going to these interviews? Well, I mean, why not? Might as well listen to what people have to say. Maybe don't close your doors to anybody. And but I do think eventually, right now, I think it would be either Denver, who makes him that offer he can't refuse, or he goes back to Fox. That's how I see it personally. But who knows? This thing could turn tomorrow when 2 days when he meets with Arizona, and they might make him an offer he can't refuse too. I hesitate to make any predictions because I think this thing can change on a moment's notice. It's like a speed dating round, if you ask me.
He is Jeff Duncan, NOLA.com. He's on Twitter at @JeffDuncan_. Make sure you give him a follow. Plugged in on the Sean Payton situation. And Jeff, I've described it. That's the first domino that's got to fall for the Saints offseason to know how everything else might fall in place with whatever assets they have. So we're all watching and waiting with a lot of anticipation. We appreciate the time as always, Jeff. Thank you.
Yeah, Matt. Thanks for having me on, buddy. Take care.
It's always our pleasure. That's Jeff Duncan, of course. As I mentioned whenever we talk to Jeff, he's literally the guy who wrote the book on Sean Payton. His book, Payton and Breeze, The Men Who Built the Greatest Offense in NFL History. So when it comes to matters of Sean Payton, and when Jeff Duncan speaks on them, I listen. It doesn't really take a lot to get to why you would deem Jeff very credible when it comes to matters of Sean Payton, when he literally wrote the book on Sean Payton. So we appreciate Jeff for his time and his candor as always. Okay, it's after further review. We'll knock out a quick break. When we come back, if you want to get some reaction in, feel free. Email us, tweet us, jump in the Bayou Ford YouTube chat on the Watch 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel, or text 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. It's my text line. It's on an app on my phone called Community. I check it all the time. You're literally texting me. Feel free to get it in, 396-4400. Okay, it's AFR. Stick around.
AFR.
Brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. A couple weeks ago, did what I always suggest to you, which is got my standard maintenance, that preseason heater safety check. Not too late to do that if you haven't done it yet. But if you are now into the midst of, obviously, the winter months, and we get temps in the 30s like we're going to have for the next week or so with those lows, and you ever have an issue with your home central heater, call our friends at River City's 1 Hour Air. They're glad to come out. Here's another 5-star review. This one from Kat Reed, who said, Leslie is awesome. He took pictures of everything and did such a good job explaining everything to us. He is super friendly and sweet. Another 5-star Google review of one of the great technicians over at River City's 1 Hour Air. They invest so much into training and ongoing education and evaluation for all of their technicians, so you will be thrilled every time a technician from River City's 1 Hour Air comes to your home. 752-0001 for River City's 1 Hour Air.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
You ever heard the tale of the misunderstood bull? A menacing beast who was born to float. A force of nature. The embodiment of grace. Quite grand, yet quiet and nimble. The Infiniti QX80.
Experience the Infiniti QX80 at your local Infiniti retailer.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Time doesn't stop, and the world keeps spinning. Community, culture, and communications, the powerful circle that connects us together. We're creating the next evolution, a network built for every possibility, moving faster than ever before, streaming us forward into the future. And the revolution is closer than you think. RTC, ETEL, and Vision are now Rev. New name, same company.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
That rebound off the tip has now secured a double-double, and she is the all-time record holder for consecutive double-doubles at LSU. She's got 20 in a row to surpass the great Sylvia Fowles, who had 19 in a row.
Patrick Wright on the LSU Sports Radio Network on the call last night when Angel Reese broke Sylvia Fowles' record for the most consecutive double-doubles. Incredible. 20 straight double-doubles. That is actually second in SEC history now. The only streak longer is held by Aaliyah Boston, who did it a year ago for the national champion, South Carolina Gamecocks, when she had 27 in a row. Sylvia Fowles, the great Sylvia Fowles, did record a message congratulating Angel Reese, which LSU put on the women's basketball social media account.
Angel, you did that. Crown off to you. Congratulations on all your success. Continue to be loud, bold, proud, true to yourself. Congratulations, Miss Double Queen.
It's I have a big picture thought here in just a quick second. Angel Reese, after the game, here's what she said on breaking Sylvia Fowles' record.
That's amazing. This wasn't my best game at all, but I'm happy to be able to break that record and being able to be up there in the Raptors with Sylvia Fowles and break those records, so I'm excited.
Kim Mulkey did this far more quickly than even I thought she would. And I don't mean just win games. I assume she would. She's now with starting 20-0. She's won at least 20 games in every game that she's been in every season that she's been a head coach. And no doubt Kim Mulkey would come in here and turn this program around and win. I think we all expected that, right? I mean, she's on the Mount Rushmore of the sport with Pat Summitt and Gino Auriemma. I mean, Kim Mulkey's there. If she retired and never coached at LSU, she still would have been on that Mount Rushmore. But there's a big difference between like checking the box score and seeing that they've won and be like, wow, that's really impressive. And talking about it on radio, like pushing aside Saints, LSU football, LSU men's basketball, whatever else, LSU baseball getting ready to start, like whatever else is on our plate, right? When you got a full plate, it's hard to add new things to the plate because you got to move something aside. In this market, it's hard. It's hard to find people tell me, oh, why don't you talk more about this or this? And the reason is it's not what I want to. I tell you all the time. It's not what I want to talk about. It's what you want to talk about that are the topics here every day. I know. I see all of our numbers. I see our metrics, digital, terrestrial. I know. I know what moves you. I've done this long enough. And Kim Mulkey has gotten LSU women's basketball to a point where it is not just something that people pay attention to the result, but that it's actually a talk topic. And it matters. And the greatest run, we all know this, in LSU women's basketball history, they went to 5 straight Final Fours, and we all talked about it. We knew who they were playing. We knew the name of the players. We knew stat lines. We knew the game coming up. We knew the teams they had to beat. We knew it was a thing. We knew the team's strengths, weaknesses, all that stuff. And I figured Kim Mulkey would get there eventually, and probably around tournament time, like if they made it to a regional final. People would really lock in. And if they made it to a Final Four, which they got a great shot to do this year, quite honestly, I'd be surprised if they didn't make it. But the conversation is no longer just about Kim Mulkey. And in that era that I just described, there are 2 players that carried the banner for LSU. There were a lot of great players during that time, but it was Simone and Sylvia. We all know that. And when you start doing things where you're knocking Sylvia Fowles out of the record book, you're going to get people's attention because it's the only era where people paid attention to women's basketball here. The masses. I'm not saying nobody, but I mean the masses paid attention to women's basketball. The only era was that 5-year stretch where they went to 5 straight Final Fours. That was it. And people paying attention again. When you start knocking off records of people who, the dominant stars of that era, you're going to get a lot of people's attention. And Angel Reese is getting it. And not only here, but what a week she had. Angel Reese went viral for blocking a shot while holding a shoe in her hand. Like, y'all saw that, right? Where she lost her shoe, and the offense continued pressing, and she blocked a shot while holding a shoe in her hand. That was on SportsCenter's Top 10. She went super viral for it, and then she stood over the Arkansas player and got a technical foul for it. Like, that video was on SportsCenter's Top 10. It was everywhere last week. Paul, please pull this up. Oh, you don't have it. Oh, what's up with that? Sorry. I was trying to show the video. My apologies. We're having trouble with the connection. Anyway, the tweet she had and not apologizing for playing with the passion, the emotion, that also went viral. LSU women's basketball put out some number, like, I think it was Cody Worsham who put it out, that Angel Reese had like something like 18 million impressions or something like that over the last week. It's incredible the amount of people that she's reached. And then obviously with the record that she broke, thank you, Paulie. I'm trying to find the number exactly. Forgive me, I'm not staring at it right now, but it's an incredible number. Now they got a billboard of her up around town. They've made us care about this program far more quickly than I knew. I think we all knew when they hired Kim Mulkey it was going to happen, and we care, we pay attention because it was Kim Mulkey. But the players, the nuance, like, it's getting there. And the players are going super viral. And they're going to be hell to deal with. And LSU is going to play. They have a week off. They play Tennessee on Monday. So the Lady Vols will come in. And they'll take on the Vols at the Maravich Center on Monday. And Kim Mulkey is asking for it to be a sellout. And they're doing I think they're doing a whiteout. Yeah, they're asking for fans to do a whiteout at the Maravich Center. And you're all going to do it. I'm not obviously every one of you listening, but there's going to be 15,000 people there. They'll sell it out. It'll be whited out. It'll be a great environment. The game's going to be on ESPN2, and it's going to be a giant statement to a national audience on ESPN2. And then they'll play a couple of more games after that. They'll go to Columbia, South Carolina, probably 23-0, and take on South Carolina. You'll probably have a 1-2 matchup of unbeatens in Columbia, and it's going to be amazing theater, and we're all going to watch it. I'm going to watch it that night. You have undefeated South Carolina against undefeated LSU in Columbia. Most likely. They got 3 more games to win. But they should win them. I'm telling you, man, it is incredibly impressive what Kim Mulkey and her staff have done already. In building this thing back to a point where not just that they're relevant, but where they are dominant and they are stealing our attention from other things that we normally at this time of year would be paying attention to. So kudos to all the ladies that have done an amazing job. Tigers blow out Alabama yesterday, and they are got a week off, and they're staring down a date with Tennessee on Monday night at the Maravich Center. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad you're with us. We're brought to you by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. That's theantiagingclinics.com for the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Hormone replacement therapy is what I tell you about all the time, but it's so much more than just hormone replacement therapy. For many of us, that's the thing that draws us in, where we start feeling our age, where you struggle to sleep at night. You wake up and you don't have as much energy. You get into the gym, but you don't get the muscle gains. You find it harder to burn fat. That's your body not producing as much of the hormones that it did when you were younger. That's aging. It happens literally to every human. It just happens at a different rate in all of us. So you want to feel like your younger self. Hormone replacement therapy could be the solution. A simple blood test can let you know. And then once you start feeling better, who knows what else it might be. Maybe it's Botox. Maybe it's laser hair removal. Maybe it's PRP. There's tons of great options. You could see a full menu of all of their services at the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. Again, that's theantiagingclinics.com. Today is a very, very special day. Today, 13 years ago today, in the Superdome, Jim Henderson delivered a call to end all calls.
Snap, placement, kick by Hartley, and it is good! It's good! It's good! Pigs have flown. Hell is frozen over. The Saints are on their way to the Super Bowl.
I'll tell you what, Garrett Hartley.
Of course, the Saints beat the Minnesota Vikings in overtime in the Superdome. Jim Henderson and the late Hokie Gajan on the call right there. Hartley's field goal, a moment that we'll always remember where we were when sort of thing. And considering the fact that the past 2 years haven't been awesome for Saints football, every opportunity we have to revel in, enjoy some of those great moments of the Saints past, including that one, which Muse asked me earlier what was better, that call or Porter's interception. Oh, it's that one. It's that one. The Porter interception was great, but at that point, we all felt like it was a foregone conclusion that the Saints were going to win that game, and then it was just a matter of what that final score and number was going to be. And the Porter pick was awesome, and the get ready to party with the Lombardi, and Henderson nailed the whole thing, and he's one of the all-time greats, obviously. But the pigs have flown, hell is frozen over. That is alongside Milne dropped the ball, or Hakeem dropped the ball, recovered by Brian Milne. There is a God. Jim Henderson was awesome. And I'm glad that he delivered that moment the way he did 13 years ago. But 13 years ago today, the Saints beat the Vikings to punch their ticket to the Super Bowl for the first time, Super Bowl 44, as we know they would go on to win it. But upending Brett Favre the way they did in that game, Bobby McCray with just some brutal hits, the way they just brutalized Brett Favre in that game. Some big defensive stands for the Saints, and obviously get it done when they needed to. And the guy who was the architect of that team, that championship team, is now looking for a new place to coach, and that's a giant storyline. But I don't know that day, January 24th, will ever come and go without us playing that call on this show. So enjoy it. Revel in some of those memories, and the hope that better times are ahead for the Saints. All right, it's after further review. Let me knock out our final break here. We'll come back. We'll preview LSU-Arkansas and hoops. We'll get to Otterlocks in about 15 minutes from right now. If you missed it, it's tipping right now. Otter did give out Penn State plus 6.5. It's tipping right now, so get in on the action if you want to bet along with Otterlocks. Again, Penn State plus 6.5 against Rutgers, tipping right now. It's AFR. We'll continue.
AFR.
Buying or selling commercial or residential. If you need a realtor, you need Darren James. 335-7666, 335-7666, or agent225.com. Agent225.com. The thing that I love hearing the most is when Darren tells me, hey, man, I love it when your audience calls and I answer the phone and they're like, is this really Darren? Like, oh, Matt wasn't lying. I'm not lying. The number I give you is Darren's cell phone number. Yeah, Darren's got an awesome team of people, that make sure that your home buying or selling process goes smoothly and you are thrilled with the results. But when you call that number I give every day, you're calling Darren James. You can test him. 335-7666. 335-7666. That's Darren James' cell number. 335-7666 or agent225.com. If you need a real estate agent, you need Darren James.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
All right, let's say ah.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, cruising along here in the 5 o'clock hour. We'll get to Otterlocks a little more than 10 minutes from right now. Busy night on the hardwood. In 24 minutes from right now, LSU and Arkansas will tip off. And then in an hour and 24 minutes from right now, it'll be the Pels and the Nuggets down at the Blender. Muse, give us a poll update if you would.
Sure. So today's Citizens Bank poll question of the day was, who is the mystery team looking at Sean Payton? Of course, ESPN's Diana Rossini had a report earlier today that a mystery team was looking to enter the Sean Payton sweepstakes when they got their ducks in a row. So we asked you, Dallas, Miami, Tampa Bay, or Indianapolis? So far, Dallas. Not overly surprising. They're leading the poll 53%.
Probably not surprising, but then Jeff Duncan just a minute ago when he was with us was like, it's not Dallas.
Yeah, he kind of poo-pooed the whole thing there. At least Dallas.
What's that?
He kind of poo-pooed Dallas. Like, that's not them.
And I don't know who that other team could be. Dallas makes the most sense. But the other one that I threw out that would potentially make sense is Tampa, because you could, in theory, have a Sean Payton, Tom Brady union, which they tried to make happen in Miami last year, as we know. I mean, it's documented now that tried to happen. But it just goes back to why would Mickey Loomis entertain moving Sean Payton within the division? That's just so hard for me to imagine that ever being the reality that this ends with. If you had a team that had an asset, I guess the way Jeff said it, if they make you the offer you can't refuse, maybe you get to that point. But boy, that just feels like a stretch. We'll all follow it. Maybe the most surprising thing was him saying that he legitimately thinks Sean Payton would go back and do TV for another year. Really good convo with Jeff. If you missed it, top of this hour, you can check it out. Remember, AFR On Demand, presented by Breck Golf. If you miss anything, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org. If you miss anything, you can catch AFR On Demand on the app, on your favorite podcast app. Just search After Further Review on your favorite podcast app, or you could always check out the After Further Review YouTube channels as well, or on the Watch 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel. All right, so LSU headed up to Fayetteville. They'll tip it off here in about 22 minutes from right now. Tigers, of course, we all know, are on a 6-game slide. Hogs are a 12.5-point favorite in this ball game. And they should be. And I know LSU beat Arkansas in that first matchup when they played in late December here at the Maravich Center. But it was one of those games, if you remember, where Arkansas offensively was abysmal. And Trey Hannibal went off. He really slashed to the lane, was very aggressive around the rim in the paint, and finished. In that game, though, Arkansas from the field was just 36%. They were 24 of 65. And they were only 16% from three. 4 of 25. Arkansas was 4 of 25. They just couldn't shoot. And that has been their bugaboo. But the same is true for LSU. It wasn't a great night for LSU. LSU was 4 of 17 from 3 that night for just 23%. And LSU shot just 40% from the floor, and they were 6 of 12 from the line. So it wasn't a great night for LSU. It's not like LSU played over its skis that night. LSU was against Arkansas what they've been the rest of this conference schedule, a very bad offensive basketball team. They just played a team that night that was a little bit worse than they were offensively. So you look at tonight, Arkansas, it's at Bud Walton Arena, which is a tough place to play. I've said it often. I believe Bud Walton is as tough a place as there is to play in the entire SEC. LSU, the Coleman Coliseum has been a house of horrors. Auburn Arena, they built that, a compact arena. Everybody's right on top of you, and when they really get going, it's a tough place to play. Rupp, I don't know necessarily that Rupp itself is a tough place to play. It's just that Kentucky's always got really good teams. So naturally, you're not going to have a lot of success there. But Bud Walton's one of those places. It's massive. They'll cram 20,000 people in there. It's loud. They're energetic. It's a really tough place to go and play, and it's why that spread is what it is. For a team like LSU that doesn't protect the basketball, that turns it over too much, you go into that environment on the road and turn the basketball over, it's going to end badly. And the more incredible thing, too, is how LSU, even though you're starting to see the spreads grow, for example, the spread for the Tennessee game on Saturday was 11. Maybe it was 11.5 when it went off. And Tennessee covered with ease. I don't know that Vegas, even though these spreads are growing, are quite catching up with just how bad LSU is right now, to say it as mildly as I can. But I will make this prediction. LSU's going to win again before they get to that stretch we talk about. They got that stretch coming where they'll play South Carolina and Vandy and Ole Miss and Missouri and Florida to finish the schedule. They're going to win somewhere along the way. And if you remember, a couple of years ago, I think it was the COVID year. Pretty sure it was the COVID year. LSU was I'm hurrying to find it. That was 21. Let me check 20. LSU went up to Memorial Gym and played Vandy, and Vandy had a record losing streak going. Here it was. It was February 5th of 2020, so it was the COVID year. Vanderbilt had a 26-game SEC losing. Y'all remember this? Vandy had a 26-game SEC losing streak. LSU, which was ranked 18th in the country at the time, by the way, LSU went up to Memorial Gym and lost 99-90. Saban Lee scored 33 points in that game. It was Jerry Stackhouse's first SEC win. It was a night where everything Vanderbilt put into the air went into the hoop. Vandy shot 57% from the floor and 40% from three. Sometimes bad basketball teams just put the ball in the bucket. It's just their night. And there's no other explanation for it because that Vanderbilt team was atrocious and LSU was a tournament team. But Vandy got hot, made a bunch of shots, and they won the game 99. LSU scored 90 and lost by 9. I mean, there's going to be a day like that for this LSU basketball team where it just works for them. Offensively, it's just going to go their way. I don't know if it's going to be tonight, but it's going to happen. It's probably more likely to happen at home than it is on the road. But it's going to happen for LSU eventually in this stretch. They're not going to win one conference game. They'll trip up and beat someone they shouldn't. And I'd love to see it beat tonight. I'd love to see them go win at Arkansas, maybe get some mojo back. But in the meantime, we'll see. Onward. Tigers and Hogs, they'll tip it off here in about 16 minutes from right now. All right, we're brought to you by Mold Zero USA, mold-0usa.com, mold-0usa.com. Give Jim Woodworth and the gang a call over at Mold Zero. Let him explain their patented non-toxic dry fog treatment and how they can take care of mold and odor and dozens of other pathogens as well. There, it's Mold Zero USA, Mold Zero USA. They're online at mold-0usa.com. It's easy. It's safe as well, safe for you, your family, your pets, your plants. This patented non-toxic dry fog treatment, they spray the fog. As soon as the fog dissipates, you're free and clear to go back in your home, your office building, mold-free, fresh-smelling. Take care of it. You deserve to live in a mold and odor-free environment. You can read the performance study from the U.S. Corps of Army Engineers. It's all right there at the website, mold-0usa.com, to learn more about Mold Zero USA, mold-0usa.com. Okay, it's after further review. Otter, I don't know if the Otter's going to have any more picks for us. Like yesterday he had he gave us the early pick, and then he just kind of filibustered the whole time he was here in his regular slot and chewed up about 5 minutes and didn't really give us any other picks. So, but the pick he gave hit. He gave us Northwestern yesterday, and it hit. And he gave us Penn State, which went off 15 minutes ago, plus 6.5. So we'll get a check on that one. But we'll see if the Otter's got anything else for us when we wrap up with Otterlocks next here on a Tuesday edition of AFR.
AFR.
You are running out of time, y'all. Get Gordon and get it done. But when I'm talking about running out of time, you're running out of time to enter the Get Gordon Dance Challenge. You've heard the jingle, the Get Gordon jingle. It's probably stuck in your head. You might have cursed it, but I love it. It's the Get Gordon jingle. And right now, go to Get Gordon on any of the social media accounts at Get Gordon, and you can see the $2,500 Get Gordon Dance Challenge. They have all the instructions of how you enter. Of course, there's got to be a lot of legalities for a contest and everything, but it's really easy. Video yourself dancing to the jingle, post it, and you can win $2,500 courtesy of Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. How about that? Get Gordon and get it done. Of course, Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys, helping injured people in Louisiana for more than 30 years. If you've been injured, you need representation. You need Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Go to getgordon.com. That's getgordon.com. You know what to do. Get Gordon and get it done. And enter the Get Gordon Dance Challenge. Get Gordon and get it done.
Corval Toyota in Opelousas is here to help you ring in the new year with no markups, and you'll never pay over MSRP. And we have new inventory arriving daily. So Happy New Year from our Corval Toyota family to yours.
Have you ever heard the tale of the misunderstood bull? A menacing beast who was born to float. A force of nature. The embodiment of grace. Quite grand, yet quiet and nimble. The Infiniti QX80.
Experience the Infiniti QX80 at your local Infiniti retailer.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Time doesn't stop, and the world keeps spinning. Community, culture, and communications, the powerful circle that connects us together. We're creating the next evolution, a network built for every possibility, moving faster than ever before, streaming us forward into the future. And the revolution is closer than you think. RTC, ETEL, and Vision are now Rev. New name, same company.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Start your day with news and newsmakers. Start your day with traffic, weather, and local stories that are important to you. Kickstart your day every day. Mornings with
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, down the stretch we come. Final segment here on a Tuesday edition of AFR. There is a change in the starting lineup for LSU basketball tonight. Jalen Reed is going to start at the guard spot over Cam Hayes. So Tigers and Hogs tip off here in about 10 minutes from Fayetteville, and Matt McMahon shaking it up a little bit, see if he can generate some life in that offense. All right, one thing left to do. Find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otterlocks.
Otterlocks, presented by Lofton Staffing Services. At Lofton, we put people to work. Call us today at 924-0200 or go to lofton.jobs.
So we turn to the one and only, the incomparable and often incomprehensible, the Ott father himself, Jimmy Ott. Otter, how are you?
Hey, Matt. How you doing, buddy?
Doing awesome. How are we doing so far with Penn State plus 6.5? You checking on the game?
Down 4 or 5 early. So down a little bit early. It'll be a close one, just like last night.
All right.
Hopefully we'll come up on the winning side again. So.
All right. Anything else we're looking at this evening?
Yeah, hate to say it, but, revenge spot against a bad team that is struggling. We'll go with Arkansas minus 12.5. It's not my favorite play of the night.
Real quick, Otter, before you go any further, is sometimes you talk about, maybe Vegas struggling to catch up to the public on certain things. Is everybody's covering against LSU and covering easily? Is Vegas struggling to catch up with just how bad LSU is right now?
I think it's stubbornness as much as anything. So when they get there, they're really worried on overreacting and getting some really smart, strong play, on the other side. So, it's still a big number. Arkansas covered a similar number on Saturday, but total garbage time. Ole Miss dribbled the ball out instead of trying to shoot a three with 7 seconds to go right after Arkansas hit a dunk. It could have gone either way. Total garbage time, around 10-point spread on Saturday. It might be the same type of thing, but a little extra juice. Arkansas lost to these guys down here. So I think if they got a chance to beat them, and Arkansas started slow against Ole Miss, but once they got going, they were cruising pretty good. It did get close at the end. Here's your stinky line of the night. So Georgetown has lost 29 consecutive Big East games. They're catching 1.5. Rooter. That's the name. And away goes the losing streak down the drain. Let's go with Georgetown. Georgetown plus the 1.5 by 2 at home against DePaul. Okay. And then Iowa State, back home, 3-0 in conference play at home, 2-2 on the road. They've beaten Baylor by 15. They've beaten Texas Tech by 34. They've beaten Texas by 11, laying 5.5. By it's a 5. We're taking the Cyclones of Iowa State.
All right, Iowa State minus the 5. So for the Otters, giving you 3 plays in addition to the early play, the Penn State plus 6.5. Arkansas laying 12.5. Georgetown plus 1.5, a bye to 2. And then Iowa State laying the 5. Where are you tonight, Otter?
Well, it's restaurant week, so our friends over at Doe's, Scott could be a little rude at times, so he kicked us out tonight because they're overflowed. So one of his running partners is Pam over here at the Bookstore. We're an airline near Corsi, so come on by and see us over here. And she's been so kind to provide a landing spot for the orphanage show. So that's
Wait, so where are you tonight? At the Bookstore?
Yes, the Bookstore is it's on airline near Corsi. It's that the side street Arnold off of Jefferson by BRQ.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go straight to the Bookstore. Yeah.
Oh,
you go down
okay.
there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So Miss Pam used to have the library on Chime Street and Slinky's. I'm sorry, Slinky's.
Uh-huh.
And so now she's over here. So
the Bookstore bar. Here it is.
Yes, it did.
Okay.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did.
Wow, look, they got some good whiskeys there, Otter. Look at that.
Yes, and if you are looking for your Wi-Fi, taxation is theft is our Wi-Fi password over here. So,
wait, say that again.
Taxation is theft is the Wi-Fi password if you need to know when you come over.
They're my kind of people, Otter. My kind of people. All right.
Your kind of place, baby.
good whiskey and people that hate being overtaxed. All right.
There you go.
Otter, have a great show, man. Thanks as always.
Always fun somewhere. Thank you, man.
All right. That's Jimmy Ott. Game Time with Jimmy Ott follows us in Baton Rouge. If you're not in Baton Rouge, online at 1045ESPN.com or Game Time with Jimmy Ott Facebook page. You can watch Jimmy Ott tonight over at have you even heard of that? Hey, I got my What We Learned. There's a place in Baton Rouge called the Bookstore. You ever heard of that? I never heard of it.
Never heard of it.
Well, we have it now. Did you learn anything today?
Ball's left-handed. You like that?
You sit next to him every day.
Never knew it.
Never realized Paul. I guess I see Paul always write down like the YouTube titles and all that stuff. Paul, did you learn anything?
LSU Houston 2027.
Bingo. All right, Buse, Paulie, thanks. Y'all have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow at 3.
AFR.
As we get on down the road, remind you about Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. Energy-efficient replacement windows, beautiful entry doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. They do it all over at Relief Windows. Do it better than anyone else. Check them out. Brandon and the crew have come over to our house and installed windows at the house that Erica and I bought when we got married. And one of the keys to that was they had one of these soundproof windows because the room that faced the street was Drew's room. And so we wanted the room to be as quiet as possible. So we had Relief Windows come and install that there. When we bought the home we're currently in, one of the first things we did, we had Relief Windows come out because in our den, it's just a big open floor plan and the whole room is just windows. And that room would get so hot because of all the sunlight coming in. So they installed the energy-efficient replacement windows, the Energy Star product at our home. Lower the energy bills, increase your resale value. It's Relief Windows. Learn more at reliefwindows.com. Reliefwindows.com.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, anytime. Hunt Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
Bayou Ford has $4,000 off MSRP plus $1,000 Ford credit cash on new 22 Ford F-150 XLT trucks. That's $5,000 off plus 0% financing. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
Time doesn't stop, and the world keeps spinning. Community, culture, and communications, the powerful circle that connects us together. We're creating the next evolution, a network built for every possibility, moving faster than ever before, streaming us forward into the future. And the revolution is closer than you think. RTC, ETEL, and Vision are now Rev. New name, same company.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Have you ever heard the tale of the misunderstood bull? A menacing beast that was born to float. A force of nature. The embodiment QX80.
Experience the Infiniti QX80 at your local Infiniti retailer.